Dark side.
All right, let's get into this right. The biggest street lord ever. All right, who shot Still Baby?
Man, I don't know nothing about none of that.
Come on now, who shot him?
You think I know?
We on the scene now. Detroit rap news. I mean Detroit. I can't say that. They already got that. Dark side news.
Yeah.
D side news.
I don't know what they be getting into. I don't know anyone in their camp.
Let me ask you.
I know just as much as you do.
I feel like we both workers in this shit. I feel like on the entertainment industry thing, we like workers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about like? I feel like Detroit is like kind of like a street city or anything like that. So it's like got a lot of like street shit in it. How do you separate that shit between the shit that we do? Like I'm just like I just have to tell do this like, bro, I'm just a cameraman. It's like, bro, I don't know nothing about that nigga bullshit.
How do you separate it? In what way?
Because I feel like do you gain relationships with your artist?
Yeah,
so
of course.
How do you separate that relationship to them? Just know, like, hey, I don't give a fuck about none of that beef shit. How do you do it in your way?
Oh, I mean, well, you still dictate who you can be around. You dictate what you get involved in. Generally, you know, I'm not even from Detroit. I'm from Southgate. I'm from downriver, right? But everyone in the streets knows this though too, bro. This is doctrine. If you're not from the streets, stay on the sidewalk. I'm not pretending I'm in the streets. Just because you're in the streets and you come to me, people come to me for recording, which is, there's like a Venn diagram. There's overlap between people in the streets and the workers, obviously, in this business. But I'm not here on street shit, you know. And most of the time they respect that. Like, I don't think anyone really in the streets, really, who's in it even to...
Don't engineer them niggas. I hate them niggas. You got it.
My general rule with shit like that is you can't... If someone is telling you that, they're getting in the way of your bag. And anyone who's in the streets is about their bag. So you can't tell me not to make money. One. Mm-hmm. Two, it's like, if you're trying to throw me in the mix of some street shit and I'm just hitting record, I don't have to record you or them. I'll just scorch earth. Like, if it becomes that much of a problem, I'm just cutting everyone off and moving on. You know, it's I'm not involved with that. It depends. But I've never been pressed to that extent. Ever in 10 years, I've never been pressed to that extent.
This nigga said, I am white. I will leave.
Well, I'm going to call my mom. But that's never happened. Like, in 10 years. You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie. I'm going to say it's a racist thing.
Because I'm white?
Yeah.
That they'll try to dictate who I can and can't record?
Because you gotta see, it's I'm telling you from an African American perspective, it's this fucked up. Let's say you walking down the street and I'm walking down the street. We both wearing all red. Mm-hmm. Let's say if this was the type of scenario, you know, in Detroit we don't do that type of shit. But like, let's say it was like West Coast type shit.
Yeah.
Boom, and then we both wearing red. They're not gonna press you because of your skin color, but they're pressing me because I am most likely related to somebody who is.
Yeah, not a lot of white bloods, from what I understand.
Exactly.
Right.
So they wouldn't press you like that. But I feel like I'll probably get pressed.
In that circumstance, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like even in the industry, I feel like being a cameraman. But I feel like a cameraman and a goddamn engineer is different. Because I feel like cameraman, like I gotta like be with people. Like.
Yeah. So I shot videos for a good little minute, and I hated it for the simple fact of
where my video at?
Man, yeah. But from a on location standpoint, it's like. You know, just being in areas I don't know, with people I barely know, in situations that you don't know who's into what. You know, when you go to a studio though, like my studio's at the Russell, so there's like
it's your space.
Yeah, it's my space. You dictate your space. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what I love about engineering. It's like your world. When someone comes through my door, they're entering my world. You know, I try to make it as accommodating for others, but at the end of the day, you're entering a shared space. You know, and so like an engineer is a curator of the vibe. That's part of your job that people don't realize, but yeah, you're entering sort of a safe space to be vulnerable, to create, to express yourself, right, in a healthy manner, right?
Let me ask you, how do you deal with this? Like, I feel like even on the videography tip, I have something that looks sweet to me, and then I just like know people, and I be like, damn, they ain't gonna fuck with it though. Mm-hmm. Me these days, I'm like fucking. Mm-hmm. Like right now, I'm fucking. Like I'm in my fucking base. I'm my fucking bag. Mm-hmm. But I want to know in your eyes, how do you do that in your craft? So I'm saying, if you made a song, you mix and match a song, and you like the way
are they sound, paying?
Yeah.
Okay, paying. Their opinion is before yours because they're paying. Because they're paying. Mm-hmm. Okay. If they're not paying, then you have creative control as the craftsman. So this is generally how I work it. Right? Is I do what's best for the song. Mm-hmm. Some things I just do from a technical side that I like, that I hear, that they won't even fucking hear. That's for me, right? Mm-hmm. And I just do it to the best of my ability. And then I just ask. Like, I'm like, you like it like this? How low do you like your vocals? These vocals might be too sharp, blah, blah, blah. How does this sound to you, right? They're the artists, because they're paying, right? Mm-hmm. It's song first, content first, but they have final say-so. You can fight for it if you like it, right?
So you fight for it a little bit?
If I'm adamant.
But you're not just like, fuck them.
No, they win at the end of the day. If they're adamant, if they're like, Rose, take that shit off, that shit is garbage, I'm taking it off. But if I believe in it, I'll fight for it. But if at the end of the fight it's them, then no. Again, sure. They're paying. Now, to your point, you can still pick your clients. Here's the real thing, though, right? Is like, if someone just simply does not fuck with your creative style, why would you work with that person? When you start, you have to for money, and you have to go through that. That's the slog.
Yeah,
right?
That's why I say, like, in the beginning phase, but now I got, like, this is like over 100 podcasts in. Like, you know what I mean?
So you choose. Like, so now it's synergy between people, if you're talking particularly with podcasts, but it's people who vibe with you on a creative level. You just continue to work with them. And those people, I give them discounts. I encourage them to keep coming back. And then you form a real relationship. You're bonded through the creative end. You understand? So it's like, a lot of that shouldn't be forced. I have, right? I'm a great engineer. Like, you can't tell me that my mixes aren't good, right? But there are people who don't like my shit. They just simply don't like the mix. And if I've done the best that I can do, and two things. If they want me to make my mix sound like shit, I'll do it one time and I'll stop working for them. And there is that, because like...
They're like BandLab, the way it sounds on BandLab.
Well, that's a whole other conversation, but BandLab, you can get good sounding mixes off of BandLab. That's actually the future, in my opinion. But I would say, like, to go a little more in depth, like, cutting all the weight out of vocals, cranking reverb, no good compression, clipping. These are all technical terms. So basically a street mix, like a super basement mix, right? If you want your shit to sound like a basement mix, I'll do it because you sat there and paid, but I'm not working with you again because my name is on this. So I'm at a point where I won't do bad work on purpose.
Yeah, I be homing people. I do their video, and if I ain't fucking with it, I wouldn't put it on my page. I just send it to them. That's right. That's my version of it.
Right. Ideally, what it ends up being is people hire you for your creativity, for your style, once you develop the style. So, like, I have a mixing style, right, generally speaking, and so people come to me because they like my style. They like the intangible elements that I add to the record. You know what I mean? And so, you can have arguments about greatest engineers, blah, 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 blah. And the real conversation from a technical standpoint is the intangibles of the record. You know what I mean? The feeling of the record.
Let me ask you this. I feel like we on the business side of shit, I feel like we always get the, come on, work with me. We're gonna come up together.
Yeah.
How do you dictate who do you believe in, who do you trust in? Because I feel like even me on this end, I feel like I be seeing artists, I be like, dang, I fuck with his music so heavy.
Yeah.
And I be like, boom. Like, how do you dictate who you work with for free and who you don't?
I only work with one person for free.
Who that person? And is it like
Big Jungle? I work with him.
You work with Jungle?
I've known Jungle though. I've known Jungle for like 10 years. And the reason I work with him for free is because he was paying for 5-6 years, and then he linked up with IUR. And I was like, you're on this path, you've achieved a milestone, so I don't give him a lot of time. I give him a specified amount of hours a month, right? Mm-hmm. To knock shit out that I'm able to give to him, right? Like, general rule of thumb, don't give shit you don't have. So if you need the fucking money, you don't give free sessions, fucking period. You need the money. Like, flat the fuck out. I don't care if it's your mom. Like, you need the money. Pay me.
I ain't gonna lie, I feel like there was a point in my videography shit, like, I say like 2020, yeah, it was last year. I was kind of scared of that voice. I'm like, just saying it like that.
Well, I don't say it like that. I don't tell people go fuck yourself.
No, I don't say go fuck yourself, but I see like, no, I need this fucking like bread. Like, come on, work with me for the. I'll be like,
no, bro,
I need that fucking bread.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this.
Like, I watched a video about this shit. It's like, America is about fuck you, pay me. And once I seen that shit, I was like, I don't say the fuck you part. Yeah, I was like, the same energy.
I mean, if someone's like, come on, bro, work with me, it's like, no, bro, you don't negotiate. I'll say it like this: the people who do that usually have the money. They have the money. Usually it's the people with the most money that do shit like that. And it's like, bro, if you're going to spend $1,000 on a pair of jeans, you can pay me $60 an hour. I'm not trying to hear that shit. Period. It's just that just means you don't value yourself. One, you don't value me. You don't understand what my value is.
And that's that shit that I have to move away from. Like this year, I feel like I know I'm so potent. I know I'm the shit. I know this content shit.
Yeah.
Everybody needs content.
Right.
So I know you don't understand the value of content.
But here's beyond that, because then they could say as a counter, just if anyone's watching this, well, then I'll go to someone else. Okay, go to someone else. Okay, how long are they going to do your shit for free? How long does it take for you to blow up, and at what point are you going to start paying them? Because if you don't, what ends up happening is you burn every bridge, and then now there is nobody. And then you're coming out a serious amount of money because now you have a bad reputation and no one wants to work with you. Mm-hmm. It's not like we don't all talk. Then that road leads to you recording yourself, and then you don't have a career, and then you're back doing whatever you're doing, and your dreams are dead. Period. You know, you can manipulate someone for X amount of time with that, you know, we'll make it together shit, right? If it's a manipulation tactic. But at the end of the day, like, people have no idea how long it takes to make it as an artist. People have no idea how much money you get off streaming. People have no idea even how artists make their money, generally speaking, and at what level that is.
All right,
you know?
Let me ask you this. You're an independent artist. How are you gonna get all your money these days from a song?
How?
Yeah.
Like
just make this. I just went to Bankrose. I recorded this dope ass song. Boom. Let's say you give like a Django or something like that. I don't know if he's independent. An independent person. Mm-hmm. Boom. How would you go about making money off that?
Well, I don't know all of the. I just was like, you don't know, but I don't know. There's like 7 websites. There's like BMI that gets your publishing. There's DistroKid or TuneCore that collects your mechanicals. I might have those backwards. It's been a long time since I dug into this. Mm-hmm. It's not really in my scope of what I do, so I don't really keep that information in my head. But there's like 5 or 6 websites. No, I just sound like I don't know what that's fine.
Wait, you don't get that little 2% off them songs that you're making or something like that?
No.
Or like that's like big as fuck?
No.
Damn. Why not? That sounds like a bag.
I mean, I suppose, but it's usually not how that works. For an engineer, like producers should get points. Engineers historically don't get points. Like, should I? Maybe I should, but I don't really care that much. You know, like if I would care if I was signed to a label, I would negotiate that, right? But like getting like 2% of, you know, I guess 500 songs. It's just not, to me, it's not worth that headache and paperwork. And then on top of that, you know, I'm just recording people off the street, generally speaking. I'm still at the ground floor. You know what I mean? So it's like people aren't even putting their shit.
That's so crazy. I don't think about it like that. It's so crazy.
What do you mean?
I don't see you at the ground floor. Look at you.
I'm talking about from like
Bro, you started You are the Rose in Bankrose, bro.
You're thinking of ground floor like a derogatory statement. Ground floor is like I'm just a studio out here you can call. I'm not tied in with labels. I'm not tied in with this. I'm not in infrastructure. I'm at the ground.
Oh, you're not in the industry.
Correct.
Oh, for sure. Oh shit, let's get into it. We was talking about the industry before you got in. I feel like it was a whole spiritual talk.
Yeah.
Why we ain't fuck with the industry, bro? Like, I really think we can make it in the industry, bro. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just my naive little young.
Why am I not fucking with the industry?
No, because I feel like if so for the people watching, the people listening right now, Lil Note was just in here. He was talking about the industry, and really, I just asked him, like, bro, you don't think we can make it in the industry and not have to be like pawns and puppies and stuff like that, and just be straight and just be literally, or like be, be like good, and then he's like, nah, bro, they gonna try us like for surely, like you gonna get tried and everything like that. I was like, damn, I think we can do it. But then I ain't gonna lie, I think about it like this. You know something crazy? This is like how I think about the industry right now. They said the industry is just like a whole bunch of high schoolers. It's just like high school, and then that kind of made me like sigh on the inside. Cause like I'm thinking about the type of nigga I was in high school. I wasn't fucking with the cool kids anyway. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was a type of kid in high school. I was like, I wasn't fucking. They seem weird. Like, why y'all measuring y'all dicks? Literally, I was looking at this like what? Y'all counting the bitches y'all fuck with? Like, what? Why you say that? Like, you make the hoes not want to be hoes. You know what I mean? I used to actually look at the nigga cool kids like losers. I was like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I just think about it as an industry now. I'll be like, damn, I think it might be the same fucking shit.
Well, you can't escape that. That's just social dynamics, right? There's always status in any like infrastructure. Because like really what you're talking about is, do you want to build your own infrastructure or do you want to attach to the existing infrastructure? right? And there's benefits to both, right? The benefit to being independent is you do it your own way. You go direct to people through social media, but it's expensive and it takes a long fucking time. You go to an industry, they have pipelines. They can negotiate directly with Apple to get your shit in playlists. They can go and put you on a tour because they're plugged in with the cities, but they want their piece. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just pros and cons. Now,
I'm not even talking about on the business. I was talking about really on the people end, like the people shits, like the shit that the industry do, like the people's.
Yeah, you're talking about like the demonic shit, right?
Not demonic. I'm talking about people wise. Period. Like it was just people shit. Like I see wrong people shit.
You're gonna have to clarify that a little bit.
Let me pull something out. I'm gonna pull something out real quick. I say like, what is something? Oh, let's say like Suge Knight. Suge Knight back in the day, I forgot what rapper it was, but he got into a car accident or he got stabbed in his throat or some shit like that. So now he's fucked up in his throat.
Okay.
So now he had made a lot of money, right? Nobody's fucking helping him. The label's not helping him, and he's like, bro, this is fucked up. But then they still want you to recoup and everything like that.
Right.
Not even recoup. I think they were still just taking.
Still want him to work.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, this is fucked up. And so he had to like really do some shit to get to his money and make sure he was alright.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that leads to a whole nother rabbit hole. Them trying to like.
Well, because labels aren't your friends, like you say, not on the business side. That's a perfect example of business, of the business side. That's hyper business side. I don't care about you personally. You made an obligation and it's in ink. Give me my fucking money. You know what I mean? And that's what comes with being a label. It comes with a label, generally speaking. Now, not everyone is as extreme as Suge Knight, obviously. But, you know, that depends on... I mean, it's the same type of argument as, like, having a good boss or a bad boss. Having a reasonable person above you and a reasonable person or an unreasonable person.
I was talking to a goddamn person about this. Do you think Drake deserves a percentage of Universal?
I don't know the context.
You don't know Drake's situation?
I don't know the situation. I'm basically completely off the internet, bro. I haven't been on my Instagram in 3 months. I'm off of all that shit.
All right, look, Drake. This is a rumor, but I'm taking it as fact.
Okay.
Shit sound dope as hell.
So if it's a fact, you're presenting this as if this is 100% true.
Yeah, but it was a label executive. He said this is true because he saw the numbers. All of the music from the 70s,
yeah,
80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Put that like how much money you think that's worth?
All of it?
All of it.
Oh, I don't know. Would that be in the trillions of dollars as an evaluation? I don't know. Probably $1.2 trillion.
Let's say 1.2 trillion, okay?
Yeah.
Drake's catalog is worth more than that. That's the most craziest fucking shit ever.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's the fuck I'm talking about. Drake's catalog is worth more than all those decades, early 2000s.
Right.
So they saying Drake deserves a piece of that shit.
Well, deserve in what way? Right?
Because he worked for the label for that amount of time.
He signed a contract. That's why contracts renew. You understand? So, like, if he didn't negotiate that,
when Drake's new contract come around, I feel like it's like
then he should negotiate.
It's an African American thing. I feel like they'd never give us a piece of like their shit.
They better fucking give Drake a piece if that's his negotiation, because that's beyond race. What you think, Drake? If they don't sign that contract, Drake just goes independent and keeps all the money, and you lose half of your fucking catalog. You know, like anything he does next, it's like that's just negotiation. It's like I'm making more than half of your entire bottom line. I need a piece. Not I want a piece, I need a piece. The only question is how much are you fucking giving me? Now everything from the past.
So you think he does deserve a piece?
Well, I think he should negotiate it for it. It's not about deserve on a business level. Like these are two different deserve has like a moral implication, right? Like we're talking from a business standpoint. It's morally neutral, right? So it really just comes down to value. It's a value proposition, and how well you want to negotiate, and how hard you want to fight for it. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, let's get into it. I ain't gonna lie. Let's get to Jungle. That's my boy.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that's my boy, but no, I'm a fan of that nigga. Boom. I did a song with the guy. So then, yeah, I think like his consistency is like, yeah, I fuck with him. I fuck with him for sure. I remember he said he was doing features. At one point, he's like, bro, it's not even about the money. It's about like just getting the repetition of this shit.
Yeah,
I was like,
he takes the craft serious above everything. He takes the craft we've done records that probably won't come out that are like not in that genre that he presents. He's a phenomenal writer, like period. You know, he takes the craft of rap serious.
Yeah, I'm more of an introvert. I'm like the only downside I really got the regret I got. I wish I was in the studio with that nigga doing that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was just it. But other than that, how'd you and Juggle meet?
We met, and it was maybe like 8 years ago, 9 years ago now. He was a client of mine. I worked at Mix Factory. That's where I started my professional engineering. So maybe 2016, 2015. He came in. He was just a client. He came with a couple people. I didn't like. I remember the people he came with, but I don't exactly remember who it was, so I'm not going to say the name. But yeah, he came in with a client like 9 years ago, and that was that. And then, we just built a relationship, and then I left Mix Factory at a certain point, and I had all my clients' numbers, and there was a point in time I was pulling up on people and recording them, and he was one of those people just off my laptop, whatever. This was maybe 8 years ago now, or whatever the case. Yeah, we just stayed close. Nothing against Savage. I don't know.
I feel like I just know everybody and they're lit in their own realm. Like I don't. Is Detroit just a bigger city? I think Detroit just might be a little bit bigger, but I feel like we segregate ourselves a lot between like these little cliques.
We segregate ourselves, you said?
In our cliques. Like I feel like you got your clique and that's like a crowd freak clique and like industry clique a little bit. And then I feel like everybody got their own clique and I just feel like, yeah, I feel like all these cliques gotta come together. I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough though. Like, there's a fine line between working together and independence, because at what point where everyone comes together is everyone still independent? So the phrasing that I use is move separately together. So exactly what you're doing, being a bridge, is great, right? And then it's like you get all of these people on your platform, you make connections, and those connections become other connections, and
yeah, like if somebody said they wanted to like I don't know, like something like, let's say they needed bank rose. I mean, damn, I want to call you bank rose so fucking bad, bro. like if then somebody needed a rose, boom, I'd be like, oh, if Savage needed a rose, I'd be like, oh yeah, go to Rose. And if Rose you needed a Savage, it'd be like, oh, go to Savage.
Yeah, but you can be the bridge for
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so I feel like, or y'all should just know each other. Like even like you and fucking Lil No, I feel like everybody should just know each other.
Yeah, that's cool. I fuck with it.
So yeah, that's just that.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's get back into the relationship with you and Jungle. Yeah, that's just a sweet relationship.
Yeah, he was a regular client. We formed a bond. He's my man's at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And then just to watch him, how far he's come over these last fucking, since I've known him, like 9 years or whatever the case, getting bigger and bigger and being consistent and linking up with IUR, and it's amazing.
Let's get into the thick of it. IUR. Is he still with him or no?
I don't know.
Dang. Okay. Yeah. So like, I ain't gonna lie. IUR got like a bad reputation right now. You know what their bad reputation is? Like, you know anything about them?
I don't pay attention to the politics, bro.
It's not even the politics. It's just like this nigga's badass. Everybody that he signs with, like they go away. Like they unsigned or some shit like that. I just know he signed. I think it was CEO Chucky, and I don't think they with each other no more. So it was like, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit to a degree because I'm from McNichols, and then he's like one of the legends.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man.
Well, those type of relationships are complicated because, again, it's if you're signing with a label, it's equivalent to having a boss, right? So it's like once you sign, that's when the work starts, right? I'm not saying anything about these artists. I don't know shit. I never met Vez. I don't know shit about none of that. I'm just saying broadly speaking, right? There's a disconnect between labels in general and artists' expectations, because artists work all this time to get signed, and they think that once you signed, you made it. But that's when the work starts. You have obligations. And not only obligations, you have contractual obligations, right? And the money needs to or the label needs to, whatever resources they put forward, they need to get recouped. That's the business part, right? And so it's like, whatever happens, like I said, I don't know their situation in general. More often than not, it's just a disconnect between expectations between two parties, usually. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know the ins and outs, but...
That's why I do contracts for everything. Really, I ain't gonna lie, I do contracts. They be like, you don't trust me? I be like, bro,
no,
we could be speaking the same language right now and be talking about...
That's fundamentally why you have contracts, because then 4 months go down the line and like your label head and you have a conversation and they're saying you're not doing this and you say I was never supposed to do that.
Yeah.
If you have no contract, where's the proof? Then it's just he said, she said, So, it's... And this music business is tough, bro. Anyway, it's like labels sign artists and develop them. But if a label is signing you, you're a product first and foremost. And sometimes products go to market and no one wants the fucking product, or the label thought they could sell it and don't know how, and it's just a mismatch.
Let me ask you this: it's the I feel like this. This is what I honestly feel like. I feel like our generation peeped onto this shit. I feel like even Peasy, like a lot of people are not signing to these fucking labels, and really, guess what they doing? Getting the same fucking money from the bank, or we just have like so many different ways of doing this shit.
Yeah.
So I feel like, what do you think is a new model? What do you think is going to be the new model for this shits?
Well, I think exactly what you just said.
And
yeah,
will this shit be less hurting to the artist? Less like, because I feel like right now it's just like we just use everything from the artist, just take everything from the artist. I feel like right now it's a very like fucked up cycle we got going on.
Yeah, I mean, I would never sign a label, period. Like, generally speaking. Yeah, I mean, so what you would do is you would...
What's this new shit gonna look like, you think? Because you see what's going on in the industry for sure. Like thousands of people, I think hundreds of people they say got fired and shit like that. Universal like chopped off a bunch.
They don't... I don't feel like overall major labels don't know the market anymore. So what major labels do is all it needs is they take people who are popular that popped generally independently, and then they sign contracts, right? And then they want them to make that song again. And just the way music works, it's like you're not gonna, more often than not, you're not gonna keep hitting peaks over and over and over again. Like with what happened with T Grizzly, this is no offense to T Grizzly, obviously, but First Day Out, monumental fucking song. He has not made a song as big as First Day Out, right? Post that. Because, bro, he caught lightning in a bottle. That was an amazing fucking thing that happened, that song even came to fruition.
I went to court back to back, bitch,
Yeah.
I'm 2-0.
Classic.
You never get that back.
Classic. And then, so I'm not saying he hasn't had a song as big as that, but that's usually how it goes, right? Like, that's the general rule. So to your original question, it's like, and again, it's like you got to know the business reason and your personal reasons for signing a contract or not. So the model is you record your songs. If you're just starting out, fuck albums. Like, don't do albums. Get 10 songs in the tank. I personally, as a videographer, you're going to hate me saying this, but I don't even think you should be shooting full-fledged music videos.
I completely fucking agree with you. I tell people today, like, I don't shoot music videos. I never said I shot videos. I shoot content. That's what I told you.
So you're the
I
new...
shoot.
Yeah.
Put that bitch sideways, TikTok, motherfucker.
So you're smart.
So like,
yeah, no, you're smart.
Fuck
because,
that shit.
Yeah,
and then when you see one of them bitches continually, like if we shoot 10 TikToks today, and then 5 of them are for this song, and 5 of them for this song, and 5 for this song, all go crazy in their own different way. This one probably needs a video. Let people tell you, let the streams, like run the streams up, and then you see that shit pop, then shoot the video.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth.
So
it's
like,
the phrasing I use is micro content. And that's exactly right. It's you get the songs. Now, every song, what you want to do is, you said shoot like 5 for each song. I would go farther and say 20, or get as many concepts for that clip as possible in that 1 minute clip or whatever it allows. Have a good concept for it.
I say because you see it too fast, though. Like, you vividly see
Hold
that.
on.
How fast do you see it, you think?
How fast do you see what?
Like, if one of them bitches go, because I feel like you can, like, for 5... You can see, these bitches, each one of these bitches do 1,000 views. This retains people, like, for sure.
Yeah, so look, every piece of content is you're learning what works and what doesn't. In the very beginning stage, even with your art, with your music, you think you know what people are going to like, but you don't know until you put it up. So that's why consistency matters. That's why you have to have people, you say delusional, you have to be delusional. It's not delusion, it's consistency. You have to keep putting shit out until something sparks. And then you get X amount of followers, and then from that X amount of followers, let's say 1,000. Let's say you're getting all thousands, and then you drop one song and one video, and you get 200,000. Right? You're like, okay, now I have, let's say 1,000 followers. You study that. What did people like about that? And then you keep dropping shit as you made it, and see what the new baseline is. It's not about peaks. It's about baselines. Right? It's about retention. Exactly what you said. So, but to go back to the business model, yeah, it's get the 10 songs, do I'll call it micro content.
Short form content,
Short form content. Squeeze as much short form content out of those songs, and then keep making, like, I would 5 to 20. 5 is fine, but 20. And then what you do, if you have 10 songs, let's just say arbitrarily 10 and 10.
And pay the videographer.
Yeah, pay the videographer. You have 100 pieces of content. Now you got to do the math. For a year, that's one video every 3 days, right? Just mathematically, roughly. right? For about a year. It's 365, so there's a bit of a remainder. But then when you have those clips, you're continuously working on shit. Then you just fill in the gaps. So if you're going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then you keep doing content, and now you're doing Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You start filling in the gaps. That's what it means to be consistent. It means to continuously be in the sphere.
Bro, and I'm telling you, like, you know, dude before, like, Dirk, he's like, bro, this nigga work hard. And like, bro, niggas don't even understand. It's just really just about putting that shit in. You know that, because, like, you know the easiest thing, too? Instagram allows you to do 15 fucking reels. Schedule 15 fucking reels per day. So you know what I do? For 6 a.m., just schedule that shit. People think I wake up early as fuck and post.
Yeah, well, that's
you understand what I'm saying?
Listen, you're using the tools available to you in the way they're supposed to be used. Yeah, of course.
A lot of people don't do that shit.
You're gonna crush people. I would counter. Working hard is not the way to go. You need to work smart, and smart has to do with process.
And you know, tell me, what is it? Do you have, like, in your craft? Do you have this, like, feeling? Like, I feel like with me, I feel like it's like sometimes I'll be like, no, I'm not hungry right now. I'll be hungry right now, but knowing I got something at the home. You know what I mean? Or I got nachos at home. You understand what I'm saying? It's what is it called? Instant gratification.
Right.
I have a problem with instant gratification. I think that's the main issue. Like, if an artist makes 10 songs right now, like if I do 5 interviews today, it's the instant gratification. I want to drop all these bitches this week or next week, this month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I feel like the one thing that just like keyed me in, like, so heavy right now, I started dropping 2 podcasts per week. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, dang, I just did this amazing interview with Rose. And I'd be like, I want to drop this bitch immediately. Mm-hmm. Like, I edit this bitch up today and this bitch will be dropped tomorrow. That's how I used to be. Mm-hmm. But then I'd be like, dang. But then it'd be dry moments. You know what I mean? It'd be moments where I didn't feel like it, or it'd be moments where I couldn't find nobody to interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like, that's like a whole thing.
Yeah, so welcome to being a human being. Like, that's... I
had a problem with instant gratification.
But we're wired that way. Why do you think I'm vaping? Why do you think I'm drinking this fucking Monster energy drink? You know, like it's, you know, that's where discipline
But
comes
I didn't know I had a dopamine, like, when I was like, oh, I dropped something, it'd be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I dropped something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and you chase that, yeah. But the more you do it, the more you understand that, like, first and foremost, not doing it is not an option, right? Having a time frame for when you're gonna blow up or be successful, that's not an option. You should just be doing it for the sake of doing it because you love doing it fundamentally, right? Because that will allow you to move forward. Now, having off days and shit like that is like, if you have nothing better to do, like if you're a single person, no girl, no family, no obligations, right? Mm-hmm. Like, get the work done you need to get done, but you can still spend time with yourself. I'm not one of those people who are like, there's 24 hours in a day, work 25 hours. You know, it's like, if you work at all, you're in the top 80% or 20%.
We're like no, and plus I feel like we all mental though, to be real with you, because people try to say we're like we don't do too much because we like sit on the computer all fucking day, but that's mental.
I don't know who the fuck says that.
That's mentally fucking draining.
Oh, of course it is. I mean, you're staring at lights all day anyway. Yeah, bro. No exercise.
I feel like they probably say to us we don't do as much because our shit is mental. You may sit in a room one day just looking at a fucking...
Well, who says that? It depends on the context, right? But then it's like, it's not that we don't do much. We do a thing that you don't. So that's everything. If that piece is required. Because it's like not... All of the components, right? Okay, look, there's an artist, there's a producer, there's an engineer, there's a videographer. These are components. Theoretically, a person could do all of those things, but the reason you pay one or the other is because they specialize. They take all of their time to learn that one thing, which means that me spending 10 years as an engineer doing 10,000 records, like, you know, they're, you know, doing, you know.
Wait, give an estimate of how many records you...
Probably, for sure, over 10,000. I mean, there was a run where, I mean, I was doing, on average, like 5 records a day, right? Now, these are what I would call like the fast food level of the music industry, where it's like you have your template, they record, mix and master right there, get it as good as possible in the time. And if someone, I mean, it's some people, they'll pay for 2 hours, they want 4 songs, and you got to get it done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, with that. So I'm just repetition, but it's you're paying me because I have a skill set that you don't have, and it's going to save you time. At the end of the day, it's about, you're buying time. Mm-hmm. Right? So someone can do all these things, but no, it's way harder to learn 4 individual things than it is to master one thing.
Let's get at you back at it real quick. In your craft, have you learned where in your craft, where in engineering have you learned instant gratification, not having instant gratification?
Have I learned instant gratification?
Yeah, have you ever like had to go through that, like I said with the videographer shit?
So me personally, I'm very specific. I don't like doing paid mixes because I don't like homework. You know what I mean? So me, for the instant gratification, is my goal in a session is get this song sounding as good as humanly possible in the time allotted, right? So if I can get a song sounding great in 5 minutes, that's my dopamine hit. That's like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? And then the challenge for me is it's a speed run. It's like
That shit still sound good tomorrow. That's the thing.
Right, and then it's being consistent because, like, obviously earlier in my career, I would still have those baseline parameters, and I'd have to go back and edit shit because it wasn't even at the standard baseline. Now, I can get to the standard baseline in, like, a minute. I know everything. It's, where are the vocals in relationship to the beat? Is the vocal too sharp? Is there enough weight in them? And if it's leveled out, that's fine. But then the other 8 minutes, if I'm spending 10 minutes, is the character shit. What is exciting about the record, bringing out the best qualities of the artist's voice in relationship to the beat, doing that type of shit, feel, you know what I mean? And then spending the time doing that. So, I mean, with instant gratification, for me, it's when it's done, it's done. And then the satisfaction of it being better than I thought it would be, or the challenge of, I wish I had more time. You understand what I mean? Does that answer that question?
Yeah, I completely understand.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this.
Now, other engineers don't do it that way. A lot, the big money for engineers is, you send the files and they mix it, and you spend $2, $3, $4, $500,000 for an engineer to mix your record.
Let me ask you this. I feel like it's there's a lot of shit. All right, let me ask you this. When in your point did you think you like got to the point where it was like, fuck this shit, I got this shit? Because I feel like, I started off engineering since like 2016. And then I used to always ask this one guy, his name's Ellie. You know L, like DJ L.
I'm not sure, maybe.
All right, so basically,
I know a lot of names, or, I don't know. I'd have to see his face.
I got you. So look, he basically was like, I used to ask him like a lot every time, every mix idea. It's like, hey, is this good? I was like, hey, how does this sound? He's like, Mario, you're gonna. He said it kind of sounds funny these days. Like it sounds like I'm Shinobi type shit or some like what rinse off, watch off type shit.
Yeah.
But he's like, you're gonna know when you got it when you don't have to fucking ask me, and you're just gonna feel it in your gut.
That's true. Yeah.
And like when you know you gotta ask somebody, that shit ain't it.
Correct. Yeah.
So then boom, I feel like I hit that bitch. I've been doing this shit since 2016. I didn't start feeling that gut feeling till 2022.
Takes time. Yeah.
And then that shit was like killer to me. I just remember that year was like an amazing fucking year for me. I think that's the year I think me and Jungle did that song. I just felt good as fuck that year. So yeah, I want to ask you, when the fuck did you get that?
I was naturally good at engineering, so pretty rapidly. So I started interning at Mix Factory in like 2016, and then I swept the floors and shit until they let me record. But while I was there sweeping the floors and shit, at like 4 a.m. I was doing like grunt work and like learning the technical side of it. And then I started getting clients and kept the clients. And then maybe after 6 months of just being in it and having my process, I felt like I got this shit. Now, I wasn't phenomenal, but
I want to know when you got that shit and you was phenomenal. That's the biggest. When you think you that shit and you is that shit, that's the point where you was like, that's the point I want to talk about. Point when you got those two together.
Well, to be honest, I don't necessarily feel like I'm phenomenal yet. I feel like there's infinite levels of mastery you can go. I feel like in any situation, if you or Gucci Mane walk in, then I will have equal energy and be able to perform. So I have a level of confidence in that aspect, right? That it doesn't matter who's there. I know what the fuck to do.
Or let's say the baseline, like when you like, because I feel like you can always keep going technical. You can always keep mastering new skills and mastering new skills and mastering new skills. I feel like you're on that journey.
Yeah.
But there is a baseline of decent good. Like you got lo-fi mixes, you got Drake mixes, you got underwater mixes, you got this type of mix, you got rusty mixes, you got garage mix.
I like rusty mix.
No, I mean like heavy metal type shit. I be listening like it's like I think Rasengan and stuff like that. It's some type of fucking rock music where like they're not supposed to understand what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah, like screamo and like post-hardcore
It ain't
shit.
it ain't even that. It's like the beat is supposed to override the vocal. You're not really supposed to even hear
Yeah,
the vocal.
there's genre specific. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I specialized in obviously rap mixes. You know
But I'm
what I mean?
saying it's so much shit, but then it's a base level of decent.
Right. So the base level of decent.
When did you hit that? And when did you think, oh yeah, I'm the shit?
Oh, base level. I don't know. Probably after a year or something. Because here's the fundamentals of a decent mix: can you hear the vocals? Is the song loud enough? That's mastering. So it's vocals. Here, I'll break it down like this: vocal relationship to each other. So the layers lead. To say it simply, lead, stack, ad libs. Are those where they need to be from a volume perspective? Then second phase, all the vocals in relationship with the beat. Can you hear what they're saying? Does it sound like the beat is overpowering and the vocals are overpowering, or is it in the sweet spot? Boom. Then is the song loud enough? That's the mastering end. That's it. That's a decent mix. That's what we would call a static mix, right? Baseline, right? And so that's relatively easy to achieve. So I can get that. I mean, sometimes I miss randomly. Like sometimes my ears are just fried or whatever. I'm not perfect. And then, so that took like a year. And then from being like the shit, I was the shit when, I don't think it was a singular moment, but it was when I did like, early Bank Rose days, man. I was in there working back to back 16 hours on a weekend and probably did like 60 records in a weekend, 16 hours back to back to back straight through. And it's like, and to me, it's like, that's when I'm the shit because of the level of commitment and the level of baseline quality doing that many songs that in that short amount of time and thugging through it and making it through. You understand what I mean?
For sure. But
So
let me ask you this. I feel like it was this one girl, she was on my head. It was basically like the drug shit. Like the drug shit. How do you keep your brain? Because I feel like we the mentalists in this shit, bro. I feel like we are like the rappers. I feel like this is the honest opinion. I feel like the rappers, the artists, have a mental component too, but most artists don't really even tap into that shit how we tap into that shit. Because I feel like we in some longevity type shit. Like I feel like as a videographer, I gotta shoot this shit, sit down for 5 hours, 6 hours, and now I gotta go home and do the same exact shit for 5 hours, 6 hours. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's that period, and then in your period, you gotta do this shit, and you gotta do the mix too, and then you gotta do the mastering, and then you gotta still make sure if you do it, sometimes it sounds good the next day. Mm-hmm. Now you gotta like be that into it, that zoned in. So I feel like, how do you stay that zoned in and like so much like druggy shit, so much bullshit? It's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of bullshit.
I've been sober for 3 years. I'm an alcoholic, and I was drinking a lot at the time. I was drinking a lot, so I got a DUI or an OWI rather about 4 years ago. So I've been sober for probably 3.5 years. I drank a little bit after.
Dang, you did some prison time? They got you? Got you?
I didn't do prison time. You say what?
None. You did a little jail time and just came out.
I just slept in the jail cell, and then I went and I got this tattoo. I got this don't drink tattoo before I even made it home on my wrist because I was done. That's a whole other conversation that gets way deeper.
You did it for one day? You was literally in there for one day?
Yeah, I just got picked up, and I went home. Like, I sobered up, and I went home.
Oh, dang, you ain't get a record?
No,
like
they fucking charged, like...
I knew a dude who got an ankle monitor, and they can tell when he drinks.
They didn't give me the ankle monitor and none of that shit. But I don't know to the extent. I was done drinking at that point. Like
white privilege.
Could be.
I'm bugging with you.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment, to be honest with you. But could be. But I didn't get the ankle monitor. They negotiated me out of an ankle monitor, I think, in lieu of random probation. I think I had the option. You know.
So you just did random probation?
Yeah, I did. I did the random probation. I don't remember the exact details, but yeah, I think I had a choice, but they waived the ankle monitor for me.
You can't even fight that shit, nigga. They got you.
No, they got me. I was so fucking fried, bro. Like, they pulled up to the window, and I was like, I'm drunk. Let's just get this process going. I didn't even try. I didn't even fucking try.
How the fuck you get that tattoo? Let's get into that story.
What tattoo?
Looks like a fucking rock star. Fucking
yeah.
heavy.
So this is supposed to be armor, but it's not. It never got done. It's a sleeve. But I got this when I was like 19. I'm 33 now. This was like a basement tattoo. Some like.
I thought you said you got it in jail.
No. I didn't get it in jail. I got this don't drink tattoo. I got caught, stayed in jail or overnight, went home. Before I made it home on my way from the holding cell to my house, I stopped and got this tattoo. Not the whole sleeve. No, the whole sleeve I got when I was like 19 because I wanted a tattoo. Basically.
That's how most people start
Yeah,
getting tattooed.
but I mean now the no fear my buddy, my really good friend has no fear, and so I kind of bit that. But no fear, like you have to know fear to overcome fear. You know, you understand what I mean? So it's like you instead of running from it, you have to understand what fear really is. When you understand what fear really is, then you're not afraid of it anymore. You understand what I mean? So that's more of a life philosophy. The thing you're afraid of should be the thing you're doing, for at least to understand that more than likely it's an illusion, that it's a manifestation of your brain, that you should dive deep into your fear to a level that allows you to put it somewhere where it belongs, which is not in the forefront of your fucking brain.
You know how I get over it? It's like it sounds so stupid, but it was a thing where like I seen this one dude get roasted. Like it was a whole bunch of kids. I remember I was in high school, and then they was roasting a grown man.
Yeah.
And then that shit was just not going for him because he got perspective, is what I call it. So then when you got perspective, nothing really is like hurt you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like he's like, nigga, that's why you don't get no bitches. He's like, cause I'm married. he's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, nigga, look at your shoes. It's like, I know how to spend my money. Why would I spend $100
Yeah.
on that? Come on now, stop it. I have real things to spend money on.
Yeah.
He's like, so you know what I'm saying? So it's just like when you think of it like that, you think about perspective.
Yeah, I mean, fear
I think
is,
shit is perspective.
It is. I mean, fear is you're sort of assigning a perspective based on nothing, based on no evidence. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so
I ain't gonna lie. I'm a proponent in suicide. Like I want that suicide. Like I seen this one thing on the internet. I don't know if it's true or not. It says like suicide things, like dome type things. Like people can choose to do suicide.
you are for people doing suicide.
Yeah, I think that'd be like sweet as hell. Cause I feel like a lot of people they're scared of death, and like I feel like go like you don't know where they going. They probably going somewhere dope.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
No, I think because everyone has potential that they need to live out. The fact that you exist is a blessing.
They might think, shit, I'm done here. Fuck it.
Well, there's a different. You gotta. I mean, if a 10-year-old wanted to kill himself, would that not be a tragedy? If a 10-year-old blew his brains out, would that be a tragedy?
If a 10-year-old is like, I think I accomplished everything I need to accomplish. I stayed past bed past 11 p.m. I've seen everything.
Do you genuinely think that if a 10-year-old wanted to kill himself...
I promise you, I don't be joking though when the camera on and off.
No, because life is struggle. If you're thinking about suicide, it's you haven't been able to deal with the level of struggle that you're at. And the struggle is there in order for you to grow. Now,
but that's coming from a perspective of, that's the perspective of you're doing suicide because of pressure. I'm thinking about the suicide because of like me in my mind, I think I'm gonna do suicide. As soon as the shit get boring, like that's how I always tell myself. If I ever gotta do prison or some shit like that, I'm doing suicide for sure. Cause once this shit get boring, if I get rich, like if I get stupid rich, shit gets really boring. Like I didn't went to space, I did like, and nothing else. Like I done fucked an alien, like I done did some shit. I done fucked the president or something. I done did something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like we did like. Once this shit gets boring, I'll be like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Right, but that's a perspective that the only thing in this world that matters is you. Because if you killed yourself, how would others feel about you dying? If you died rich...
They gonna do it. The McDonald's is gonna open at 8 a.m. the same fucking time.
Yeah, but your mom won't recover. Nor will your father. Nor will your siblings. Nor will your friends.
You think they're not gonna go to work?
There's a difference between thugging through a tragedy and recovering from your son committing suicide. It's not all about you.
You think they're gonna you don't think they recover from that shit?
No.
No. From people dying?
No. If as a father, I'll tell you as a father, if my daughter died, I would never recover from that. You deal with the pain.
But if they were happy, they were like, oh yeah.
Happy.
Shit just boring.
Happiness is fleeting moments. Happiness shouldn't be the goal. If your goal is to be happy, do cocaine. Like, that's not sustainable. Sustainable happiness is not realistic.
Really?
No. It's what you're talking about is peace.
Because happiness is comes from the inside.
I mean, there's a difference between peace and happiness. Happiness is a state, okay? Should you always be happy? If for an example, if your grandmother is dying, right, and you miss her and you love her, right, should you not be sad?
You saying if my grandmother is dying? Should
you not be sad? Should you always be happy?
Yeah, because she gonna go somewhere good.
Well, that's a
Or
different.
like that's why I'm saying like you're going like no fear, like you're going with a perspective that they're going somewhere away. Like just change your perspective to they're gonna go somewhere else. That's just the only thing you gotta say.
So if you felt sadness, would you say there's a problem with my life because I feel sad that my grandmother is dying? I understand your perspective.
Yeah, if I felt sadness, how do I deal with sadness? How would you deal with sadness?
Yeah.
How would you deal with sadness?
Because here's what you're saying. You're saying the goal is happiness, which means that you have to completely eradicate sadness. How do you eradicate sadness out of your life? That's what I mean by it's unreasonable.
Perspective. It's just the same way that I said the dude, he never got sad when you start picking on him. Look at this, look at this, look at this. He never got sad because it was all about perspective. But I never get sad because I look at shit as perspective. Like I be looking at like.
I think if you say you never get sad, I think that's a bit disingenuous. I'm gonna call you out on that. You never get sad.
Nah, because perspective. It's all about perspective. Like, I swear to God, like no bullshit. Perspective.
All right. Well,
I don't need to interrupt y'all.
what's the difference between peace and happiness?
Peace and happiness. I think it's just peace and happiness. I feel like those two are synonymous. I think those.
Then why are they why are they different words?
Because it's certain things called synonyms.
So you're
peace and happiness.
You're conflating happiness with peace.
Happiness and peace. I think those two are the same.
Peace is a what you would describe as the perspective. It's a, let me see if I can define peace properly because it's harder than I think it is. Peace would be comfortable with who you are, where you are, and accepting things as they are. Whereas happiness is more of a feeling of, what would you say, elevated.
See, look, it's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Keep on.
Because you can be peaceful and go through sad. Peace is more of, I suppose. Oh no, that's true though.
Like peace. Like, I feel like when you have true peace,
peace is like
you're happy.
Peace is like an acceptance of the way things are. Happiness is more of like a state of mind, but those are the same thing too.
Exactly. Come on, I grew up around drunk fools. I know this talk.
I mean, I guess. I mean, but I still disagree with you. I still think they're the same thing. It's hard for me to articulate right now. But
I feel like happiness, I feel like when people say happiness, that's some, like even when bitches be talking about like, you got a woman?
What?
You got a wife?
Yeah.
All right, for sure. I forget what hand it is on.
Let me explain it to you like this, right? If happiness is the goal, right, then if my wife makes me unhappy, should I leave her?
If your wife makes you unhappy.
Right.
I mean, it all, come on, it gets deeper than that, my G.
No, I'm asking just in this context. If my wife makes me unhappy, should I leave her?
If your wife makes you unhappy, like no goodness, like nothing, like if she don't tip nothing on my scale, yeah, I'm out. Like I wouldn't even marry her. Like to be real with you.
So for how long?
How long would I not marry her?
No, how long to be unhappy do you leave your wife?
Oh, so you're saying like, okay, if I'm already married to the girl and then boom, she started to make me unhappy. I told her about it and then she's just still unhappy.
Right.
I'll probably be like, I got kids with her? Mm-hmm. All right, dang, I already got the kids. Okay, so unhappy, got the kids. She changed. Crazy thing, this is like an actual real thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. Unhappy and there's nothing we can do about it. Just like nothing we can do about it. I'll probably still stay married, but then be fucking other things on the side. I'll probably keep it together for the kids and whatever the fuck she do with her pussy, she do with her little pussy. But then, because I feel like it's a dude, we win in the end of the day. So
I think that
that's me on my end. Like,
that's fair. But
I was talking to this one girl. She said some foul shit when I was with her. She said I wanted to lose her titties. Like she said, it's my back. I was like, I want to get a surgery. It's gonna take my titties off, and then boom, because it just hurts my back. And I was
all the way off. That might be an overcorrection. But I want to point something out to you though. Is that if happiness is the goal, but you say that you would stay with someone who makes you unhappy for the sake of kids, then the purpose of your life is beyond happiness.
For the sake of peace.
Because those two, well, peace for who?
Household, family, me.
But you're not happy.
I don't want. I am happy. I'm not. She's not gonna be my only bitch. Like I'm gonna have other bitches.
But
Like
you're not happy at home.
I probably put other bitches in there. She probably just have to deal with that shit. To be real with you, like I'm so sorry. I'm so right with you right now. Like, and what is she doing to not make me? If she can't change that shit, if she's that unempathetic, she's that non-sympathetic.
Well, so here's a point I'll make about this is that
She's that non-sympathetic. I'm telling her this doesn't make me unhappy. She can't do nothing to change it.
well, you pointed out that you would work in your relationship through pain in order to get back to a state of peace, of happiness. Now, if you couldn't achieve happiness, you would get peace, but then you would get peace and happiness from external sources, but you would still have a section of your life that you're staying with her on paper for the sake of the stability of your children.
I'm saying even if she did make me, like saying unhappy, it's like unhappy seems like violent. Like unhappy seems like a harsh statement.
Well, I think unhappy is deeper than that because, like,
you basically saying this bitch is miserable. Like that's what the fuck it sound like. So I'm saying if she was in peace, I'm saying I got so much inner peace. I deal and work with people that make me unhappy, and I still have peace enough to still be happy in the situation.
So then that's a difference between peace and happy.
You know what I mean? Like I got inner peace. That shit is like internal. Is what I'm trying to say. Like peace, happiness has nothing to do with nobody else. Like I hear bitches, they say that shit all the time about their husbands, some shit like that. He doesn't make me happy. It's like nobody's supposed to make you happy.
Okay, that's the point I'm making though. But
Yeah.
you in the starting the conversation, you said
It was just hard to say that shit. It was just hard to say that shit.
what?
Like she can't make me unhappy. Like that was like the trick question. Like she can't make me unhappy.
Right.
So
That's fine. But she can make you miserable. She can try.
Yeah,
Because she can change she can change the what would you say? She could change the space of your home to try to make you miserable.
but kick that bitch to the curb. Like I'm good. Like even the shit, you know him, Jungle. I heard Jungle going through some bullshit with his
I'm not gonna speak on his personal business.
Yeah, that
on
shit.
camera.
Yeah, that shit got to me. Nah, it's nigga public. Nigga, if I know it. It's
Well, I'll let people do their own research, but I'm not gonna add to that conversation.
Yeah, I'll get you. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. But that's that.
It's unfortunate I couldn't define peace and happiness. I'm gonna have to think about that for 4 fucking hours.
Nah, that's all good. Those are the people coming to watch.
Yeah. These concepts are difficult. When you really go down into what you really believe, values and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm a firm believer, like when I pressed you on happiness and peace, right? It's like if happiness and peace were the same thing, we wouldn't use them in different ways. So definitionally, they have to mean something else. But people assign different definitions to different words and conflate them.
Oh yeah, I believe we all talking different languages.
That's
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we all talking different languages. For
Right.
Sure.
So it's like if someone says, like, I love you, right? It's dependent on their definition of love.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
I need you.
Right. It could
Sometimes
be because some people's definition of love is presence. Some people's definition of love is money. You know what I mean?
Shit.
So,
How long you been married?
huh?
How long you been married?
Oh, I just got married like 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been with her for 8 years, roughly.
What's up with you niggas? You niggas that take too long.
So I'll tell you right now, I wanted to do it right, get money, throw a big wedding because she deserved it. In my opinion, we've been through hell. You know what I mean, and like stayed together through the entire hell. And I wanted to give her, from a masculine perspective, I wanted to give her a wedding that I feel like she deserved, with money and the fancy things and a big wedding. And I just decided that I wasn't going to wait for that anymore. We'll just get married, and when money comes, then we could throw a secondary wedding. But keeping her not with my last name when we have 2 children for that long was the wrong approach. So I just had a different philosophy. I just changed my opinion on.
Yeah, I got you.
That.
I ain't gonna lie. I think I feel like people overinflate money so much. I ain't gonna hold you.
They what?
Overflate it, like just
For sure.
like I think that shit is like too much. Are you? Be honest. Are you still overflating it in your head?
Am I overinflating money?
Yeah.
No, I think it's necessary.
Even I was just talking to Brody about lawyers and shit. He's like, bro, I ain't got no money for that.
Yeah.
And then I be thinking, he's like, dang, maybe I'm just overflowing money.
No, well, so you need a baseline level, right? Because money is a stem cell for resources, basically. You have money, because instead of trading for things, it just makes it easier. So it's like, you work for me, I give you money. That money is good for anything you want, any service, any good, right? That's functionally what it is.
Yeah, I understand money. Like money,
Yeah,
of course,
well,
we need it.
I'm not saying you don't. But I'm saying, like, yes, people at a certain level, when you are good on food, water, shelter, basic necessities, and you're comfortable, and things are paid for, then there's no need to get a bigger house, a bigger car, lifestyle inflation.
Yeah,
right?
everything like
There's no
crazy.
need for that, because, like, in relationship to, like, satisfaction, right, or peace or happiness.
You know how I be playing with bitches?
Huh?
Bitches be like, how much money you got? Some shit like that. You know what I do?
Punch him in the head.
Nah, I be like, hey, look, I give you some money. Let me get a finger. Let me get a foot. Or some shit like that. I be like, and then you see how important money is. You know what I mean?
That's a red flag. That's a value. That's a value thing too, right? That's her saying, I will give you my love in exchange for money.
But now I say, hey, how important is money? Let me get a foot. I got the money.
Right.
But I want a foot.
Oh, you're saying it. Oh, okay. Right. So you're like, what's the value of your foot? Will you give me, how much is your foot worth? If I had $1 million, would you saw your foot off and give
how much is money worth to you? That's really what I'm asking. I want to ask, how lost are you?
Yeah. I mean, it's tough though. I mean, it's hard when you grow up poor and money is all of your issues. Like, I understand this from being, like, from a poverty perspective, where it's like, if you grew up with no money, it becomes all encompassing in your world.
Bro, is it really?
What?
Think back to your childhood though. Is it like, because I feel like I grew up in a poverty environment too. I just feel like, looking back on it now, I realize what the root issue is. Like, this physical shit is only a root to the inside shit. Mm-hmm. If the family's poor, the family's internally fucking poor. Mm-hmm. It's not just the physical. Like, I knew that shit since, like, day fucking, like, 0. Mm-hmm. Like, do you see that in your family?
I didn't grow up poor. I'm saying from a perspective of, I understand the blame on money. I understand the raising money up to
you said higher. Like you grew up poor. I thought you wanted me.
No, I grew up, I would say, dead ass middle class. I 100% agree with you that if you're poor, generally speaking, there's a mindset issue with your family or with yourself.
Yeah.
With a structural issue in your family, generally speaking.
Let me ask you this. This is like a mental question. Boom. Where your parents fuck up raising you at?
Where'd they fuck up?
This is like a therapist told me this. And they was like, if somebody, they say their parents didn't fuck up raising them or something like that, that's how I know I'm dealing with a liar. Because everybody's parent, no matter what they did, messed up somewhere.
Of course.
If they don't see that, then they have another problem, which means they're like accountability self. Like, they don't look at themselves. They're not looking.
Right. Well, I would say the biggest thing for my father would be that I think when I was growing up, he put himself first in a lot of situations. My parents divorced when I was 3, and he was chasing, what would you say? He was chasing some level of, like...
The same shit you was chasing. So basically, you kind of broke the cycle.
That's my goal. I'm trying. I mean, fundamentally...
He was chasing the same money shit you was chasing, right?
You say what?
He was chasing the same money shit you was chasing, right?
It wasn't money necessarily. I think he was chasing adulation. I haven't had this conversation with him necessarily. He wanted to be somebody out in the world, and he sacrificed being somebody in his home for it. Right? My mother, I think, just as a personality, she's really neurotic. I don't mean that derogatorily. I mean, like, she feels negative emotions deeply. When bad shit happens, she feels it deeply.
What's neurotic?
Huh?
What's neurotic?
Neurotic is just that. From a technical standpoint, being neurotic means that you feel negative emotions more powerfully. Right? So she hyper worried. I mean,
wait, your mom was white, right?
Yeah.
Your dad was white?
Yeah. My mom is 100% Italian, and my dad is 4 kinds of white. So it depends on, I mean...
You just call yourself white?
Yeah, I'm white.
I vision.
But I feel like she...
There's like a thing. I feel like you're trying to get to it. Mm-hmm. It's like a thing that it was a white dude who said this shit. We was talking about type of woman. Mm-hmm. And he was like, bro, white women, they be gaslighting. It was like, they just overplay. I feel like what you trying to say is like, oh, that overinflation of like gaslighting type shit. Like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe you just put that cup down right there, knowing that I wanted some Red Bull. What the fuck?
Sort of, but
Why did you not just get me one? Oh my, like it'd be shit like that.
sort of, but it wasn't necessarily the small things. It was more of the big things. Like she worried so much about the future that she didn't focus on the present, I think. And that influenced her discipline towards me. Like, so I was horrible in school. I hated school. My mom had the mindset of if you don't go to college, you'll be poor forever and have a really hard life. And I couldn't hack it in school because my brain doesn't work that way. And I was bad in school, so she would put a lot of pressure on me to do well in school to a point where I just said,
was you slow?
"Fuck it."
Was you? Well, I don't know what they call it. Were you slow?
Was I what?
Like one of the mental illnesses or something like that. You got a learning disability, is what they call it.
No, I don't know. I might be ADD. I'm undiagnosed,
But you just know you could just make it in school.
no. Well, for me, it has to like meaning matters the most to me, right? So to me, it's like, why are we doing this? Why are we learning this? What is the point of learning math right now if I'm not interested in it and I'm never going to use it in my life? So why do it?
Oh yeah, you like me. I feel like
You understand?
You look at the bigger picture first,
Right.
Like that's
And then
how I
dial
do.
it back.
Like my best thing was history. I understood the bigger picture. Okay, now we can dial it back. Why the fuck this matters?
Yeah.
So it'd be like,
Yeah. So I just never, I didn't really know what I was going to do. Like, music really saved me from being probably a real piece of shit because it gave me direction. But yeah, I mean, like, as soon as I found something I enjoyed doing, I quadrupled down on it and dedicated myself to it. So it's like, I don't know if I'm necessarily ADD. It's just that I didn't find anything worth putting time into at school. And I feel like being in a room and going to 5 different classes and sitting with a teacher and doing homework and shit, it's like, why? Why am I doing this?
so you didn't go to college at all?
No, I dropped out of college like 5 times. I tried to go multiple times, but school environments I don't work well in, and I think it's a pacing issue, right? Where it's like, when you go to class, you go at a specific time, you're learning a specific thing, then you have to stay on pace with everybody. And either in English, I was amazing. So like I would be reading ahead of people and doing, like, I would just ace it, right? Math, I was behind people. Like I just didn't get math, right? So the everyone is supposed to be on the same pace, right? And I think that having 20 people in a school, doesn't lend itself to actual education. I think it lends itself to getting a sheet of paper. Because really fundamental, this is a deeper question, is what is the purpose of formal education? Like, what is the purpose? And I would argue that we treat it as to get a job, right? So to me, it's like...
It's all bullshit to me. It's bullshit. It's just bullshit.
I mean, I agree with
I think
you.
people, like, you can put a whole bunch of facades and shit on shit, like, but bro, it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. Like, I think most of it is just bullshit. Like, some of it, real shit. Like, you need to become a doctor to do this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. STEM
But
fields. I think that if you are required... I mean, with a doctor...
Most of them bitches in college you fuck on, like, they don't know what the fuck they want to do in life.
Yeah,
Trust
of
me.
course.
I
It's
know
like
this.
you're just going to go. And for me, it's like I couldn't fake that. And I think a lot of people, they just thug through it, right? They don't care. They're just doing it because they feel like they're supposed to. But to me, it's like it has to mean something. There has to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There has to be a functional purpose for me.
Let me ask you that. I feel like me in my life, that was a big point in my life. Like, I was like, I did a semester of that shit. And I was like, man, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like a hoe a little bit. But I feel like I was like trusting. Like trying to trust. It was really my grandmother. I was trying to trust my grandmother. Like, she knew what the fuck she was talking about.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I see what's going on. But now I was like, yeah, I feel fake as fuck.
Yeah.
Doing this shit.
Well, it's not for you. In the same way it wasn't for me. Like with what you're doing here, I'm sure you dedicate hours and hours and hours to building your business and that type of shit. And it's like, and the question my mom would really ask is like, you're spending all that time, playing video games, because I was a big gamer, still am. If you just dedicated some of that time to school, like, you would be ahead. And I'm not arguing that video games was a better use of my time, because it certainly wasn't. But I just couldn't will myself to find the reason. You know what I mean? But a lot of that had to do with being a kid, right? And like not understanding, not focusing on the future. You understand what I mean?
If you have to go back to college, because 9 times out of 10 you couldn't go back. You're a habitual goer. What you going for?
If I had to go?
Yeah.
Philosophy.
What'd you go for the last times? Because you say you went back 5 times. What was you going back for?
I went twice. I went to OCC, and then I went to WCC.
What were you going for though?
Music for one of them. The other one was just general. I just went to make my mom happy. I went to CNA school, which I actually finished that, and then I didn't get that job because bankroll started popping off. I started making enough money where I didn't have to do that. The fourth time I went to be an EMT, and I dropped out of that. And the fifth time I got my music certifications, which I actually did get through.
See, it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. See, it all sounds like bullshit. See, first you need to do this, really, but you don't really need to do this for the money. That's why I feel like just go with a heart at. Like, I don't know, I'm a big heart component, like type person.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's just the structure of like I said, it's like, what's the outcome of this, right? Because it's like just going to school when I didn't know necessarily what I wanted to do. Like I knew I wanted to do music.
Because the thing that pissed me off is I went for some shit and not using that shit and knowing I suffered that much amount and did like, you know what I mean?
And that's why it's bullshit.
I'd be like,
that's why it's so. To me, it's
I'd
like
be pissed. This shit, I know this shit is gonna work out, and if not, I put 100% into me. I'll take that. Yeah. But then putting 100% into some shit just because grandma said, I'll be like,
yeah, that's exactly what I mean. I would rather fail. I'd rather fail giving maximum effort for something that I believed in than succeed for something that I don't.
Let me ask you this: why the fuck you not on your phone?
What do you mean?
Like you say for the last 3 months, you say you ain't been on shit. Like, what's up?
Oh, I don't care about like the social media world. Like, I care more about spending time with my family. It's just a distraction. You know, it's like it's you know, you get caught up in other people's problems. Like you asked me about Skilla Baby and getting shot like right when we started or whatever. It's like I didn't even know that happened. You know what I mean? It's like I just don't. It's just mental space I don't want to take. I'd rather spend my energy for my family. You know, and it saps energy. You know, it's highly addictive. I'm addicted to my phone like everyone else if we're being honest, but honestly, I'm addicted to my phone, and it's an addiction that I don't want to be in the way. You know, it's just not relevant. I would rather look my daughter in the eye and be present with my family than spend time caring about what other people have going on.
You know, something crazy. It's the I think I'm getting older at. Well, how old are you? First off,
33.
Oh yeah, we're nowhere near the same. But I feel like I felt older when I looked on Instagram and the bad bitches I stalk getting degrees and having babies.
Yeah.
You at that part?
Oh, I passed that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they having degrees, having babies. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, time ticks, man.
These bad bitches ain't bad bitches no more. These are somebody's mom.
That's mom bitches. Yeah. That's a whole different person now. Yeah, man. Time ticks, bro. Yeah.
So that's just something funny I just see. Like, cause that's my only thing on the internet. Like, I'm not a huge, like, I post that shit, leave.
Yeah.
Post that shit, leave. I probably see a couple things, but then post that shit, leave.
Yeah.
So then,
well, I get trapped. I get trapped on it. Like, if I open it, then I'll just keep going. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, and then I have to shut it off, you know?
Let me ask you this. I got this, so basically it was an actor. He's the Black Captain America. He said, it's not about what you do, it's about who you know. And it's not even about who you know, it's about who picks you. He said we're lying to our kids where we're saying work hard and something's gonna happen. He said no. He said everybody's here because somebody was like, I want that engineer. Or no, I want that videographer. So.
Yeah, connections matter, but so do technical skill. No one would say I want that engineer if I sucked.
But no, I'm saying they're all, like I'm saying you gotta be honest with yourself to know that there are probably like 20 other roses. There are probably 50 other dark sides.
Yeah.
So it's like somebody was like, that one. Do you believe in that or do you believe in the hard work ethic?
Well, I mean, I believe in smart work. I believe in hard work. I believe in consistency. But if you say there's 20 other roses, there's 50 other dark sides, that's just panning out too far. That's identifying me as an engineer, right? As opposed to me as a human being. Because people can't replicate a personal connection I have with a client. You know, so yes and no. It's like, are there people who are better engineers than me? Yeah. But are there other people who have the same connection as me? No, on a personal level. You understand what I mean?
Oh,
so, but that kind of leads into what he's saying. It's like, I pick you, but it's like, why? You know, but you have to be good at what you do first and foremost. Like, that's not a statement to not fucking work hard.
No, I'm saying all 20 roses, all good as fuck. Same results every single time. So it's just.
Yeah, but that's a mechanical way of looking at it, right? Because that negates a human interaction.
Let's get into the real shit. We was talking about it before. He's talking about the Illuminati and shit like that. You believe in that shit?
Do I believe in the Illuminati? I think it's within the realm of plausibility that there are, vested interests that own a bunch of shit that control the population.
You believe these Jews are doing that shit?
Do I believe the Jews? No, I don't like generally painting a group of people as a monolith. I think that maybe
You don't think the Jews doing that shit in the industry?
The way I would look at it is if there are 10 people doing it and all of them are Jewish doing it, I wouldn't blame the Jews. I would blame those 10 people for doing it. You understand what I mean? Because what do you mean the Jew? Like, do you mean like the guy at the?
I'm saying like.
Do you mean like the rabbi down the street is a part of it?
I'm saying like they say in the fucking. I don't watch sports, but let's say in all the sports, mainly black people. Mm-hmm. All the people that own sports, all the boards and directors, all the people that own these niggas, really, to be raw with you, white or Jewish.
Okay. But again, it's like when you say the Jews or you say black people, right? You're conflating individual people with all of them. There's a deeper argument here where it's like, do Jewish people in general have more money? Right? It's like, yeah. It's like, do they all believe the same thing, generally speaking, under, what would it be, the Torah? I haven't been deep in Jewish.
It's Torah.
Yeah, right. But is there a mass conspiracy that all Jewish people own everything in order to enslave all black people? No, I don't believe that. I believe that individual people are doing things for their own interests.
I don't think they all like masking that shit to do that shit, but I think it's definitely doing that shit for surely. It's like I don't want to mask, like I don't want to degrade all women and but I want to fuck all these bitches. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't want to they don't want to do that shit to black people, but they want to make some of that nigga money for sure.
Yeah, but it's the question is all of the Jews, because when you say the Jews, where is the dividing line? Do you mean everyone who believes in Judaism is part of a big conspiracy? Because again, to me, it's like let's just arbitrarily say it's 10 people that run the world, and if they all happen to be Jewish, there might be a correlation between the Jewish culture and the fact that there are 10 Jewish people there, but I'm not going to blame, the rabbi down the street for what happens at the top level of running the world. Those are individual people. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I would say blame those people, but I'd say, do you really see it?
Well, what is it that I'm seeing?
Jewish people are running the music industry. Do you see it?
No, again, there are individual people. There's a difference between Jewish people and individuals who are Jewish.
See, niggas get into this technical shit. when they talk about the Jews, they said some shit. It was like, if a Jewish person did it, it was an accident. You know what I'm talking about? They say if a black person did it, it's like he probably didn't do it. Not guilty. They say if a black person did it, he probably did it. It's guilty. If a white person did it, he's guilty. He's not guilty till proven innocent. If a Jewish person did it, look the other fucking way. It was an accident. You never heard of that?
No. I mean, I kind of understand that. That would be, but the question again is like.
So I feel like that's why it's like a cancer question, because I feel like everybody looks the other fucking way towards these people. That's like the craziest
I mean,
thing.
that might be the case. But again, it's like what's the line? I don't think there's a whole conspiracy of Jewish people running the world. I think there are individual people who
They just happen to be Jewish.
Right. But that gets into a deeper question of why are those 10 people Jewish? Right. And then it has to do with the culture question of how 10 Jewish people got there. You understand what I mean?
I'm not even talking about the world. I'm talking about the music industry. Just the music industry.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's...
Because I don't think... my whole thing, even with the old dude, he was talking about evils, everything like that. I think, it's the craziest part about this shit. And you ever see that one movie where it's, the end of the world, and you remember that?
There's a lot of those.
Damn.
There's a lot of movies.
Basically, it was all them Teslas. It was all the Tesla models. I think it was a Jordan Peele movie. It was a whole bunch of Tesla models.
Oh, I didn't see... no.
They said basically the rich people left or some shit like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
So basically at the end of the movie, it said the best quote, and I always never forget this fucking quote. It said, people think the upper higher ups, they have some conspiracy, this is it, to do this, and they control so much. Mm-hmm. And he's like, but the truth is, they don't control shit. They just get tipped off before us.
Yeah.
And he's like, they deal with the same shit. Like, so I think the world is going to end, and they couldn't do anything about it. Like, so much shit was just building up.
Right.
So
Well, again, it's like I think that there are groups of people who like control huge sectors like of the music business, and they probably all know each other, and it's very plausible that they do fuck shit in order to advance their own interests and make their own money. I think that's true across the board in any domain. I think that's true in politics. I think that's true in tech. I think that's true just period, right?
Yeah.
But it's like causation isn't correlation, meaning that if all of those 10 people happen to be Jewish, you have to make a difference between those individual people and all Jews.
let me ask you this: for the black people in this really in this industry, what do you see the future for us? Do you ever see us getting together with this shit?
Again, I mean, yeah, again,
Because I feel like you got to see it. Like, I feel like you got to see it's like it's fucked up to a degree. Like, it's really fucked up to a degree. Do you ever see us getting together in this shit?
yeah, I think, but again, it's like, will all black people unify? No, because not any group.
Or most of us.
Well, I think that,
And we did it before. We did do it before.
yeah, like Black Wall Street and things like that.
We did it before.
Yeah, the Reclamation. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
we did
Jim
it
Crow
before.
came and fucked everything up. Yeah, I think that, I'm a big proponent of your race and your sex, your sexual orientation.
And
are
I only
not-
say that because we run this much of the music. Like, I feel like I interview a lot of Caucasian people and people that aren't black.
Yeah.
And they be like, oh yeah. But while I've been doing music, I've definitely been getting used to, I've been gaining more black friends. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
because black people, y'all run the music industry, just point blank period.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? We run it, but we don't own anything in it. That's like the most fucked up part.
From a cultural perspective, people make decisions based on their wallet. So it's like, again, I don't like grouping people, generally speaking. I know this is like a cop-out answer, but based on your sexual orientation, like who you're attracted to, your gender, and your race. I think those things are one of the least important parts of you. Not to say...
That's the least important shit.
Well, not to say that the perception of like something like police brutality, like from my perception, police will target black people more. I'm not saying you have a...
So you like a spiritual person. So you believe in so you like a spiritual person. That goes to my questions. What's your religion?
I would categorize myself as a Christian these days, I suppose.
For sure. Just wonder. All right, for sure. What's your relationship with God look like?
Personal and great.
He said, not saying that shit.
No, personal and great. I have a personal relationship with God. I pray and I go through ChatGPT line by line in the original Hebrew and decode the Old Testament and get my own interpretation on the root of Scripture that's not been passed through other domains, other denominations. That's what I mean by personal and great. I went into the Scripture to the best of my ability with the technology. I say, give me Genesis 1:1, give it to me in the original Hebrew, transliterate it, which means give it to me exactly, literally what these words say, and then give me different interpretations from scholarly interpretations to other sects of that interpretation and what it says, and you go line by line, and then you read through. That's how I do it, because I don't want secondhand. I don't need a mediator to talk to God.
I get you. I go like, what's your Adam and Eve story in your mind?
What is it?
Yeah. What's your Adam and Eve story look like? We got a lot of people come up here and say some shit.
I mean, I think that...
Because you got to think, they start fucking and then boom, did they kids just start fucking on each other or some shit like that? Like, come on.
Seems to be that way.
So I just want to know.
So I'm not convinced that the Bible is necessarily literal. I think that like every story is...
That's what I'm saying. I want to know what's your Adam and Eve story.
My Adam and Eve story is that God created Adam. God created Adam in order to be a steward for the earth, right? In order to name things, right? Which means to put things in their proper place and steward the earth. And then he created Eve. He saw that Adam was unhappy. He created Eve, and he saw that was good. So these are two partners. And then I think
you believe in Lilith?
Do I believe in Lilith?
Yeah, Lilith.
So that goes into... What's the history of Lilith?
You know about Lilith.
Well, the history of Lilith, that's like Yahweh's wife, right? So that would be pre-Old Testament.
Oh.
That would be pre-Old Testament Yahweh. Yahweh would...
That's like Jesus' wife?
No.
No,
Yahweh is like Jesus, right?
Yeah, no, Yahweh is God. Yahweh was so
Oh.
before the Old Testament, there was Yahweh that was being praised in Israel. I don't know this intimately, so someone can check me on this. But there were different gods that people. It was a polytheistic sort of view on.
Oh no, check it out. This is the Lilith story. You want to check it out?
Sure.
The Lilith story was Eve wasn't the first wife. Eve was the second wife.
To Adam.
The second wife to Adam. So the first wife to goddamn Adam was Lilith. It's kind of funny to a degree.
I thought Lilith was Yahweh's wife, but I could be wrong.
That's like when they start like this is like the story about it. Made Lilith, right? And then Lilith was just like man. Imagine a female as strong as a man.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because in the Bible it says, it's a story, it's a book that's not in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
But then basically he said she tried to fuck him. She wanted to be on top. in nice words. That's what it said.
And he said, "Fuck that."
Yeah, he was like, and he saw that Adam was unhappy, so he did something to Lilith, and then Lilith was banished. And then they said now she's like a god, and like she's outside doing a whole bunch of shit, and people start praising her as a god.
So, I mean, so the way the Bible was constructed, though, is, the Bible, to me, and all religious doctrines are asking the question of why is there something rather than nothing, and how does the world operate, right? So when you had, the Bible was created, the Old Testament, I think in particular, it could have been the New Testament as well, but it was over the course of 1,000 years by 200 people, taking all of the scriptures of people and putting them together. The Bible literally means the library, right? So it's different stories that got put together and then presented into a cohesive story. So something like Lilith, the story of Lilith, may have been something that people wrote and like believed in, but then it got omitted from the Bible by whoever put the Bible together from an agreement over the last 1,000 years and those 200 people. You know what I mean? Because the Bible it's to me, again, it's like, I'm not...
My bad. I kind of railed you off though. Let me get your Adam and Eve story. Because I feel like everybody got their own perspective on it. Even like looking at it now, like I'm looking at like...
I think fundamentally the Adam and Eve story is about not putting yourself over God.
So you don't believe that it was an apple and all that stuff?
No, I mean, there was the fruit. So it's okay. So they're in the Garden of Eden. God has one rule. He says you can eat from anything except you can't eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay? So the serpent comes up to Eve and he doesn't tell her to do it. He says, did God really say that you can't do that? He's just scared, blah, blah, blah. And so Eve looks at it and decides, before she eats it, she decides that the fruit was good for eating. It doesn't say apple, it says fruit, I believe. But she decides that it's good for eating. I personally believe that was the first sin, is the decision that it was good for eating, contrary to God saying don't. And then she ate it, right? And then God came down and he banished them. So there was the tree of knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life. The tree of life makes you immortal, right? So he cut them off from the tree. He kicked them out of the garden in order to cut them off from the tree of life, right? And so there is something to be said about knowing more than God. It's if you eat from the knowledge of good and evil, that doesn't mean you know of it. That doesn't mean you know how it should be wielded. That doesn't mean that you have the outcome. That doesn't mean that...
Let me put this shit on you.
Yeah.
There's some funny shit. It's not funny, but it's an interpretation. That's why I say so many interpretations of this shit. It's like crazy. That's why I want you to tell your own story of interpretation. So this interpretation that so basically the fruit is sex. That's like just the funny thing.
No, I mean, Adam and Eve were the first people, and they were, I mean, for all intents and purposes.
Because like even like when you read a lot of stories and shit, every time they talk about fruits and shit like that, like he bared my fruit of and they talking about sex. That's like the whole thing. Well,
I think they're talking about children, right? The fruit.
They basically saying they wasn't supposed to be fucking. He's like, don't touch her apples, like.
Well, I don't hold weight to that because they explicitly talk about sex in the Bible, and if that's what they wanted to say, they would have just said it. Because why be metaphorical in this instance and not be metaphorical later?
Because I ain't gonna lie. Because do you remember? I think the whole thing is metaphorical.
Well, of course.
You watched the Noah movie? You watched the Noah movie?
I didn't watch the Noah movie. No.
The Noah movie, like, I ain't gonna lie, the Noah movie is crazy because the Noah movie is how the fuck I thought about Noah. And that's how I perceive Noah. How do you perceive like the book of Noah?
He's the last person that still listened to God, and so God saved him.
Man, you ain't got no interesting perspectives. I'm playing with you.
Well, I mean, I haven't dug deep into Noah as much as I've dug into Adam and Eve, so I didn't necessarily get too in depth on that story.
So this is basically the whole thing about it. Even it said it in the movie, and I perspected it like that was my perspective from reading that shit. It was that Noah, like the whole story was God wanted to kill all humans. Okay. That's why he picked Noah, because Noah, like his kids, couldn't have kids. He had boys or some shit like that, and they didn't have wives or some shit like that.
Right.
Basically, Noah and his wife was not finna have no more fucking kids. Like that whole perfect ending story where God just blessed them with kids and shit like that. That shit is not how like it was supposed to go. That shit was supposed to be like ended. But I feel like Noah didn't have the balls to do some shit. He didn't have the balls to like watch his kids die or some shit like that. And, like let Noah family was supposed to be the last fucking family on earth.
Okay.
But he fucked up. So some fucked up. I don't know what fucked up.
Well, if God wanted to kill all humans, why would he tell Noah to build the boat?
Keep my shit.
But why would he do that? If he wanted to kill all humans, why would he tell him to build the boat?
Shit, it goes into the whole thing though. Why would he flood it?
Well, if from that perspective he wanted to kill all humans, but why? If you wanted to kill all humans, why would you save one?
Because those are going to be the last ones to save all my shit. I don't know why, but he couldn't come down here and just say, "Hey, give me 2 elements to this, to this, to this, to this." All right, everything else, killing. Like he couldn't come down here and do it himself, so he had to get
so
Noah.
You're saying he wanted to keep the animals, but he didn't want to.
Yeah,
he didn't want to keep the people.
Yeah, he didn't want the people, and that's why Noah had the sons, and the sons didn't have wives at the time.
No, I mean, I think most of the stories of the Bible are the same story being told in different levels of abstraction and in different ways. And I think fundamentally what it is those who believe in the nature and the goodness of being and put their faith in higher ordered goodness will be saved from the temptations and the evils of the world. And God will provide, and the ark is a symbol of when the flood comes, because in your life the flood always comes. Is it a better idea to prepare for the evils or stay away from them and build an ark, build something to save you from the evils of the world, or is it better to ignore it and drown? And I would say that that's an analogy of being itself, God.
Oh, you feel like a reader. I feel like you're a reader. Do you actually read?
No, I don't have a lot of time to read. I'm more of a podcast listener, audio book.
You fuck with the Anunnaki?
Is that the...
That was like the first, like everything we read, like everything we're reading comes off the Anunnaki.
I'm not hyper familiar. I know the word.
Yeah, so the whole thing, like this is why it makes it like so suspect for me. Like to me in my head, I think like this might sound stupid. This might sound stupid, but it is what it is to me. I think this whole perspective we got of God, I think it's some type of alien. Like in my head, it has to be some type of like I think like that whole Adam and Eve shit, it was like on some like so like when he made them niggas.
But when we talk about God, this is why I don't necessarily believe in a man in the sky God, although you could entertain that it's possible. If everything was made by an alien, who made the alien? This is an atheist argument. If everything is rooted in our world by the creator of an alien, who made the alien?
And that's why I think this shit just keeps going in a circle. I think it's always gonna be like even when you was talking about like the 5th dimension and shit like that, I think that shit just never stops on some real shit. Like how like we're in like I think they call them galaxies, and a whole bunch of galaxies make a whole bunch of universes, and a whole bunch of universes make multiverse. I think you can never stop going. I think it just be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right, but that would mean that nothing has a source.
I think nothing has an ending. I think like if I want to go into the atoms of your shoe right now, I can go to the atoms of your shoe and I can go smaller than that. And then I can go smaller than that.
Right.
And I can go smaller than that.
Right.
And then I can go smaller than that.
Right, but...
It doesn't have an ending.
But infinitely?
Like numbers don't have endings. There's no such thing as 1 or 2. Like that's my whole like thing. Like if you put you on a scale right now, you're gonna be 162 pounds point. We just stop at this point.
Right.
So I think nothing.
But just because
I think for our human brains, we need an ending, but there is none. There's infinite.
Well, I think everything is cyclical. I think things repeat. Right. So, but what you're arguing for, if there's never an ending, then there's. Are you saying there's no source? Is there no source of being itself?
I think it's the source of like the nigga that made us, like for surely.
Right, but then who made him?
Like I'm saying that shit keeps going for sure.
Right, but it can't go infinitely. There has to be a source.
There has to be a source for you?
Well,
To me,
hold on.
there's
How
no
would there
source.
not be a source?
I think something always made from something.
Right, something's always made from something, but what made those somethings, right?
I'm telling you, that's the paradox shit. I think that shit just keeps going.
So I think that God, as we understand God, is the source of all being.
Who do you think made God?
I think that God is being. I think God is existence itself. I think we're all mirrors reflecting God. This kind of goes into simulation theory, but if you want to talk about omnipresent, right? If God is all of being in its totality, then how would you see everything all at once? Well, you are everything at once. If you're all powerful, how would you be all powerful? Well, you would be all things. If you had all knowledge, how would you have all knowledge? You would be everything. So I don't think God is a man in the sky. I think that being itself is God.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. This is the one thing that I think, and then we got about this, but I think the nigga might be a man though. I ain't gonna hold you. I think it might not a man. When I say man, I think male, female. But I think he might be because it said he made us in his image.
Well,
so I think the nigga looked at himself and like made us.
But he made Adam in his image and then pulled Eve from Adam. So Adam is both. When you marry a person, right, it's two becoming one, right? So men and women are one. So God is both. God is both masculine and feminine. God is all things.
But you don't think God look like us? He has to look like us. And when just that line period,
no,
he looks like us.
So no, it's.
I think he might be like
God
some superhuman type nigga.
No. Again, it's like if there was a superhuman, it would be dependent on being itself. God is being. God is not an entity.
So what does that line mean when he say he made us in his image?
It means that we have the responsibility to categorize things properly, and move forward in the spirit of being itself. Is that if you name something properly, which is the job he gives to Adam, you name the animals, right? And you tend the garden, you put things in their proper place, and that maintains paradise. And the second that you don't, things begin to collapse. And that's where suffering comes from. This is why what I mean when Eve named the apple good for eating was the sin. She misnamed something. She decided above God that her opinion of what it was not what God said it was.
Curiosity thing, I got my feminists, they mad at me. Why the bitches always fucking up in all these beginning stories? Why the bitches always fuck up in the beginning? You go to Pandora's Bar, you go to anything, nigga. Bitches fucking up everything.
Well, again, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it was her fucking up. She got tricked by the serpent. You know, he just put doubt. And I mean, you could think of doubt. You could think of this in so many different ways. You can think of doubt, or you can think of the serpent as the little voice in your head that says you're not good enough. You need me to stop?
I'm good.
No.
I'm a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, you could think of, you could think of man, woman, and the serpent as sort of this trinity of human existence, where like the serpent is the voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, and then, you know, Adam is the one who tends the garden, and Eve is the one in between that has to make the decision over, do you listen to what you think is right, or do you listen to what, you know, God says, basically.
Let me ask you this. It's the so you say you got that little running with the law. You got your CPO though? Can you get a CPO?
Can I? Yeah, I can.
Why not? How can you do that? I thought like people with records couldn't even do that shit.
People what?
With records couldn't even do that shit.
I could get a gun with an OWI.
You can get a gun.
I think.
All right, for sure. Let me ask you this. What's your opinion on the guns?
I think they're good.
I know you recorded a lot of switches.
Yeah, I mean,
you recorded a lot of Dracos. It's in every song.
I mean, you know, I'm a Second Amendment kind of guy. I believe that.
You sound like the type of white guy. You got a long ass farm. You be shooting in the backyard.
Yeah, for sure, I would do that.
Like you from Southgate too? Yeah, that's all they do. Let's do that down there.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that people should have the right to defend themselves.
Sure.
I believe, yeah. I mean,
you don't think the Michigan gun law is crazy? You think it's just right?
I don't know the gun laws. I don't own a gun. I believe people should be allowed to a certain limit. I don't think people should be able to have like tanks and missiles, but I think that for defending your house or defending, from the defend yourself against governmental tyranny, which is why that was written in the Constitution, period. I believe that that's good. I believe that that's a good thing.
Let me actually just get into the bullshit. Can I talk about the bullshit? I want to talk about some Curtis bullshit. Why you ain't fucking with Curtis? I'm clipping this shit too.
It's not that I'm not fucking with Curtis. I think me and Kurt just kind of grew apart. I'm not gonna give an entire story like on camera unless he's sitting here to defend himself, especially because me and Kurt never really had a final conversation. I don't think that's fair to kind of put him on blast.
I'm gonna be the guy. This is the guy moment. This is the podcast moment. Can I call the guy?
The what?
Can I try to call the guy?
No.
You don't want to do it?
No, fuck no.
See, it's something. What's the beef?
Fuck no. No, you can't call him. No, because that's between me and him, and it's my responsibility to close that circle.
I respect it, but So you made Bankroll. So what was the making of that like?
What was the making of it?
Yeah, they named the shit after you. You have to be a big component or something, bro.
Yeah, I mean, well, they didn't name it after me.
You're like a legendary to me, like.
So my rap name, my original name was Morose because morose means like quick to anger and like depressed and shit. And I was very much that when I started rapping. Maury Corey, when we met at Mix Factory, he called me Rose, which I hated at first. And then I was shooting a video with Henny, and I was like, I'm gonna open the studio. This is before I was gonna have him engineer and shit.
That sounds like some nigga shit.
He was
Morose.
Rose, yeah, he called me, Rose. No, Corey, it doesn't, bro, if your name is AJ, he's going to call you A. If your name is A, he's going to call you A. Like, he's, no matter what, you're getting a fucking nickname with Corey, which is hilarious. But, and then Henny came up with the actual name. Cause it was between, there were three. It was like Rose Royce, which was, I didn't like that because it was another brand. And then there was another one I forgot. And then there was Bank Rose. Henny came up with the name Bank Rose, and so we stuck with Bank Rose. But I went by Rose, and then we named it Bank Rose, and then people just started calling me Bank Rose. So it is named after me, I suppose.
Dang, I get the same thing with this dark side thing. So I made this dark side.
Oh yeah, that's people are just gonna call you that.
Yeah, people just call me dark side.
That's who you are now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy because I kind of went with it now. Like nobody calls me by my real name.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like,
as soon as I go home, I'm Alex, and as soon as I cross Michigan Ave, I'm Rose.
Oh, crazy.
All
right, let me ask you. Could you don't want to talk about nothing about how you left or anything like that, or I don't even know when the fuck you left.
I mean, I'm gonna. I'll say.
I was so surprised to see you even not like out of there. I was like, I thought you was.
Well, look,
there.
I mean, it goes deep into some shit, and again, I'm not trying to talk shit about them, and I didn't publicly talk shit about them. I have my grievances with them, but at the end of the day, now it's been 2.5 years. I still love all them.
So you've been gone for 2.5 years,
roughly.
Okay.
I love all them. I wish them all well. It's just I feel like at the time, I felt like I didn't have the decision-making power that I should have had to a point that I just had to separate. And I mean, I know that's not, gossip and whatever, but again, it's like with Kurt in particular, I didn't close that circle. I didn't have a final conversation with him. I don't know if I had one with Henny. I don't know who I had a final conversation with. I just left, and that was a problem with me at the time, just how I was feeling. And so again, it's I don't want to speak on it because it's still on my heart. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not done necessarily, but I don't wish ill upon them, and I hope the best for all of them. I just have disagreements with the direction at which they were going, particularly with the studio. And and I can leave it there, but mostly
I ain't finna harp on it. We're good.
Yeah, my values generally changed. Like I used to want to be somebody out there. I used to care about fame. I used to care about being rich. And I'll tell you the exact moment. So I shot Vindictive, right, with Rocky Bad. I shot that video. Me and my buddy Ben, who is no longer around, he was the real talent behind the visuals of that. But we shot that video. And it immediately got, I think, over 1 million views. Like within 3 days, from a brand new channel on the Bank Rose YouTube, it got 1 million fucking views, right? And I was elated. And it was like at that point, it was something like when I started in music, it may have been like 8 years of like pursuing music, and it's like validation, right? Even beyond getting the studio and all that, whatever. It was like, yes, I did it. Within that week, okay, I come, and it felt great. I come home, pull up in my driveway, and my daughter started walking, my oldest daughter, and she was walking, and she came up to the door, and she's like, Daddy's home. And it was the first time she walked up and met me at the door. And that feeling of my daughter walking, meeting me at the door, was infinitely more fulfilling than that video. So that planted a seed in my head where everything I'm doing, all of my goals are fundamentally fucked up and wrong. And I need to spend more time with my family. You know what I mean? And that is sort of, I don't want to say that's the exact separation, but that's when I stopped giving a shit about marketing and being somebody out there and getting money and being a face and getting clients and the records and the adulation. I don't care about that. I want to do good work, and I want to do work with people I fuck with, and I want to do music, but it's for my family, not for itself, not for fame. And I was wrong. And I switched there. And it took about 3-4 years for that to kind of come to a head, because Kurt's hyper ambitious, not saying he's not with his family, not saying he's not a good father, not any of that. It's just he spends a lot of time focusing on the business, and that ambition drained out of me slowly over time. And I think fundamentally,
you saying what it was, just y'all was just going in different directions.
And that's that. You know what I mean? So and that came to a head. But at the time, again, 2.5 years ago, when it came to a head, it was all of the symptoms of that shit coming out in our conversations. And I was feeling some type of way. But what I just said, I realized that maybe 6 months ago, all the way. Right? That took me time to figure out. Really. You know what I mean? These things take time.
Y'all having different conversations. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this.
And it's just,
I'm going to go home with my kids. Nigga, you finna do what?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, but it's not, but it wasn't like, again, it's not like, like I said, Kurt is a good father. You know what I mean? And so it's not that
you can do what?
Yeah, it's just I don't have I'm trying to be home. I'm trying to be with my wife. I'm trying to be with my kids. I don't care about, again, that's why I'm not on Instagram. Like I used to, I got famous for giving people rapid famous. I put myself as like a B-list celebrity in the city at my peak. But I was out there doing those 1-minute Instagram videos just on topics on recording, and then it turned into how to live your life. And then I kind of tapered off of that because it felt disingenuous. It felt like
you're just doing what's cool.
Well, it's just I'm doing what used to work, but before I really cared about my business, and because functionally I did that in order to gain clients. And now it didn't matter to me anymore. The business didn't matter to me anymore, and I was going through shit in my life anyway. I mean, I had a brand new baby.
It's basically just like college shit. You're doing bullshit for bullshit. And you just feel bad about it because the time you put into bullshit.
No, it wasn't that it was bullshit when I was doing it. It's just
it's starting to feel like bullshit though.
Well, it just started to feel disingenuous. It's like, who am I to tell people how to live their lives when I don't have a handle on mine? And that's really hard to I don't want to get on the internet and be like, hey guys, this is fucking blah, if it's fake, because everything I say comes from the heart, right? And it's like, you could probably go back to that Bankroads page and you could probably map exactly where I was in my life based on my tone and what I was saying, because some shit I was saying, it was moderately depressing. You know what I mean? Like half the shit I would say, it would be things that I would tell myself to remind myself of what's important. You understand what I mean? And I would just share those inner dialogues publicly, and it worked. There's still people who fuck with me just because I helped them with their life, and I'm eternally grateful for that. But to maintain that and to continue doing that and being known and having my identity as the guy who knows shit or whatever, it's like, I don't want to, the most important identity to me is husband and father, period. And so when I started taking that seriously, really seriously, then the other shit doesn't matter. And the way to sum that up is, I don't care about being a hero out there. I want to be a hero in my home. I want to be the man my kids think I am.
Would you be a villain to everybody else on the outside and be a hero at home?
Would I be a villain to everyone? Yeah.
You'd be a villain?
I mean, it depends on to what extent.
No, I'm saying, if you had to be a villain outside but a hero at home.
Yeah, of course.
Like a terrible person.
Well, it depends on what you mean by terrible.
If they say you're a terrible person outside, but they love you at home.
It doesn't matter what other people's opinions of me. The opinion that matters to me is my wife and my children. That's all that matters to me. You know,
vision.
like in an extreme, like that's obviously an extreme hypothetical, right? So, but if the question is,
I'm saying that's some shit like politicians and shit got to deal with on the daily. Or like great men leaders have to deal with like on the
yeah,
daily.
I mean, but some people have it reversed. Some people are hailed as like amazing people in real life, and they go home and they're bastards. And so it's like if you want to compare the two of those, fuck everybody
That's
else.
crazy. That's how I feel like right now. I swear to God, that's how I feel now.
What?
I feel like outside, dark side, like he works so fucking hard.
Yeah.
He does this. And then I go home. And then like even in family, like they don't understand that shit at all.
Yeah, well,
they're like, you just do a couple videos, you post it on the internet. What the
Yeah.
fuck is you doing?
Yeah.
They don't understand nothing. Like they don't understand the internet.
Well, I mean, I will say this.
They're
though.
older. They don't understand the internet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like you're doing like you. Do you have kids?
Hell no. I don't
Do you have a
none of
girl?
that shit. No. I don't
How
do
old
that-
are you?
Do that bullshit. I'm just turned 24.
Okay. Are you living with your family? Like,
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing that I would tell you anyway is in the fastest way possible, get your own place to live, and then their opinions immediately don't matter.
It still do though. I swear to God, I have my own spot, but it still do though. It's like it's
You
even
want your
still
parent-
a bad person. Like I'll be looking at that shit like
You're,
wow.
but,
Okay.
But their opinion of because how they're putting a moral weight on what?
Like it's always been like this, and I just like
You're
I
a
never
bad.
see it.
You're a bad person is crazy.
Like a bad
to me.
person, like for surely. Like I swear to God, I did an interview and it was just some shit, and my dad saw it. He was like, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck is going on?"
Hey, I'm in the middle of an interview. I'll call you after this. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, love you. Bye.
You paused it. Did you pause it or end it?
It ended. I can do another one though.
Yeah, do another one. Just don't pause it.
That was crazy. I was checking to see if it was still going, and she called me, so maybe we cut a little bit of that out.
It's all good. But basically, yeah, you don't think it should like you don't think like nothing of this should matter?
No, well,
Cause that shit be killing me. Like, and dude
no,
said
yeah,
that shit.
So look, it's you as a son. Is it your parents in particular?
It's like the whole fam. Like I don't know the whole tribe, but I ain't gonna lie, it kind of fucks me up a little bit on the inside because I like it's like beef going on in the family and shit like that. And I'm like I be telling them like I don't got the heart and like to deal with this shit. Like I swear to God, I be telling them that shit.
Yeah.
I be like I don't got the heart. Like some shit I do not be caring about. Like I think it's some holiday today or tomorrow or Monday or some shit.
It's Memorial Day.
And then they like, oh, we doing something. I be like, if it ain't my birthday or the
look,
kid's
bro,
birthday,
listen.
what the fuck are we doing? I look at these things like I could be editing a video right now.
Listen,
I could be shooting some shit right. 42 Doug just straight bitch. I give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Well, look,
Fuck are we talking about?
That's. I mean, look, that's fair. Here's the only problem to me lies in if you have a wife and a family and you're doing this and it's not stabilizing your wife and children, right? That's an issue, right? I fundamentally believe with a small asterisk that children don't owe their parents anything. Flat out. They brought you here. You don't owe them. You don't owe your parents for taking care of you. You don't owe
Like it's in the Bible. Honor, respect.
You say that's fine.
Respect, honor, like
respect, but
Yeah.
but there's a fine line between being the person someone else wants you to be versus being who you truly are. You understand what I mean?
oh yeah, for sure.
So it's like
Even when that conversation with my dad, this shit is stupid.
Yeah, man,
But
listen.
like it was a funny conversation because he said, "Don't say anything about me on the pod, nigga." So that's why I say it's stupid.
Yeah.
But that was the last conversation. That's
And
the
then-
last conversation we have with him.
Here's-
But basically, he said that shit, and I was like, "Dad, I honor, I respect you." That's what I tell him. Like I took that
Right.
shit off top. As I got you, but everybody else, I got wrong, nigga. Fuck him.
Yeah,
He's like,
well-
I respect you and mommy. Like mom, she ain't said shit about it. She's not even on the internet. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, he was like, but
Well,
you,
I mean,
got
look,
you.
I mean, there's
But
another.
I say the parents, but everything else is like, bro, I don't got time.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
energy for that
honor
bullshit.
your parents, but it's like at what level? You know what I mean? It's like that doesn't honor your parents doesn't mean do every fucking thing they say regardless of how you feel. You know, like I don't believe in that. Again, it's like you don't owe your parents for bringing you into this world. You don't owe your parents for putting a roof over your head or feeding you or giving you education or any of that. That's their duty as parents. You didn't ask to fucking be here. I don't expect my children. I'm not like what like when my kid turns 10 or something.
What do you expect out of your kids, though?
Huh?
What do you expect out of the kids, though?
I expect them to be good people. I expect them to
See, that goes into that shit we talking about before. I feel like we talking two different languages. You say being good people. I was like, what does that mean, though?
Good people means treating others the way you want to be treated, the golden rule. Not hurting others for your own benefit, but at the same time, those who are trying to hurt you, defend yourself against it. And moving with purpose.
So if they made $1 million, they don't owe you like none of that shit.
No,
like,
of course not.
Fuck all that.
No, they don't. Your children don't owe you anything. Fuck no. I brought them here.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I brought them here.
You're gonna be my white guy friend. Like black people, we don't think this way.
Well,
we need every dime.
That may be a cultural issue, but again, I would posit that. Again, I don't like to put people in a monolith, right? Where it's like black. If you say black people, this, it's like, I mean, bro, who was just here, he wasn't exactly like, he didn't exactly have classically black cultural ideas, generally speaking.
Oh, you talking about on the? I think was bro.
I mean, he was clearly from that way, but he was also like.
That nigga said a lot of shit. I did not know that.
He said some contrarian ass shit, right? And it's like, individuals matter, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like the thing. I mean, I'll say, as a white person coming into black culture.
Why you put that apostrophe?
Because I don't necessarily believe that there are race-based cultures. Period. I think that your culture is determined based on how much income you had and the location you were born. Meaning, if I was born and raised on 7 Mile, how would I act?
Like a 7 Mile nigga.
If you were born where I was born, how would you act?
Like a 7 Mile nigga.
Okay.
Huh?
If you were born where I was born?
Oh, where you at?
Well, I mean, where were you? You were born in the suburbs?
I was born in McNichols.
Oh, so you look, bro. So again, this is a perfect fucking example. Like, did you grow up poor?
But the crazy thing is, like, I grew up in McNichols. Like, that's how the crazy people always laugh at me. They always like, this nigga ain't from the hood. This nigga ain't from. So when I start saying that, but I start like literally like, I feel like that's why when the podcast start taking up, when I start talking about myself. When like I feel like niggas didn't know I really came from McNichols. They was like, this nigga from the suburbs. This nigga from the suburbs. I'll be like, cool. I just let that shit rock because I'm not the type of, I don't like being extra hood. Like personally, like when I'm around white people and shit like that, I don't like saying you from Detroit is like saying like I'm a hood nigga. Basically equals, it's like the same shit.
Right, that's a presupposition, but
that's what I'm saying.
But you're a perfect example of not being black culture, quote unquote, because I would make an argument exactly what you just said. They don't even put you as black.
Nah, not black. They put me with black for sure, but like they ain't put me like hood or ghetto. What the fuck? I don't know what the fuck that shit's supposed to mean. But like,
right, but can you define any culture? Can you define what black culture is?
Black culture? Yeah.
Or can you define what white culture is? Or can you define
white culture? White culture is plain.
Plain?
Plain as fuck.
No seasoning?
No, I'm saying white culture, you can be anything. In white culture. You can be anything. Black culture is more or less, you got shit on your back for surely. You got certain shit predetermined already for you.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's the case from my experience. I couldn't be anything.
Mm-hmm. Why you say that?
I mean, I had pressure from my family to not go into music. I had pressure in my family to go to school and do all that shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But I say, but you still have the choice. I feel like black people, a lot of us are fucked up mentally. You don't think that like, I'm a little different because I think you even got a choice. Like, I remember like thinking as a kid, like with my mom, and I was like she said some bullshit, and I was like, oh, I might as well not live here anymore. And like I was like really serious about that shit. She's like, where are you at? She thought I ran away or some shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So I just always remember that as a kid, like just being like,
where does that come from? You think?
I have a choice, motherfucker.
Where do you think that you don't have a choice? If you're black, you don't have a choice. Like, what are your choices if you're black?
No, I'm saying you don't have a choice. You either gotta rap. As you know, you gotta rap, do something with that fucking brown balls. Mm-hmm. Black boys love brown balls for some fucking reason. Mm-hmm. Boom, do something athletic with that body or some shit, or do something illegal. It's like the three things we're like obsessed with for some fucking dumb reason.
Right. Is that
you go outside of that shit, you kind of off a little bit. Or like right now, like right now, content creation, like being.
Is it off? Is that off internally? Is that off among other black people? Because as a white person,
yeah, that's off. That's off amongst other black people. That's kind of like you're kind of new. Like I walk around with my camera, like being a camera guy. Right. Like most camera guys are like, no, like actually being good at the shit. Like nah, they don't. Like nah, they're serious about this shit. Like serious about this shit. Not bullshitting with it. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah. They look at that shit like I'm saying how the family look at this shit, they look at this shit as weird. Like, I don't know why. So much weird shit go with this shit. Right. I don't know why they think like, I don't know why it's like a thing. Like, what's the weirdest thing you get from your craft? That people like the biggest misconception.
Of my craft.
Yeah, that you do. I was just saying mine's like, I don't know, man. I take photos that bitches automatically think you jerk off to them or some shit like that. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck do y'all think we do with these photos? Like, we have porn up, like, so other fucking avenues. What the fuck? Y'all always think, like, nigga just like, send me my photos. Don't do nothing weird with, bitch. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, maybe there. I mean, I will presume that people do get into photography to be creeps. But yeah. That's unfortunate. But if it's internal with the black community, that seems to me like
they say black people, we can't fuck up. Like, it's like in their head, like, you have the option to try something and not work. Black people, we don't have that option, like, to fail in our heads. Like they say Jaden Smith is the most craziest black, like, boy or black man, because he'll do some shit and be like, oh, like, this is a white thing. White thing is to try some shit. Oh, that didn't work. Try something else. Like, most white men have a gay moment. They're like, no, I'm so serious. Y'all can try being gay or some shit like that, or some weird shit or something, anything.
Right.
And be like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, I'm not that. So try something else. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Black man, we ain't trying shit. What the fuck? No.
Right. I mean, I feel like
white men, y'all can try that shit and be all right. Oh, yeah, I'm not gay. I just did it that one time.
Yeah, I'm going to think about this deeply because I have to unpack this in length. But, I mean, what I would say about that, though, is that this is also why I don't think that placing your identity on your race is a good thing. Because if you are born, like where you were born, and you want to break outside the box, and that's really who you are, then that means that that transcends your race. That transcends the collective identity that is forced upon you. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that you need to be an individual before you're a member of your race, gender, sexual orientation. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
You know?
But I ain't gonna lie, I did say the bad things. There's other shit to it, too. It's like other good things about being black. It's like rhythm. Like no, I'm so serious. Yeah. Like, they said, I just seen an interview about this shit. They said YouTube, this whole algorithm shit, this whole shit works off of consistency. A rhythm of every Wednesday, an interview drops. Guess who got the best rhythm? Yeah, so it's like,
I wonder if that has to do with the style of music.
The style of music?
Yeah.
All music require rhythm. Do it not?
But it's different rhythms. Like you have like Colombian music, right? Or like merengue or something, and it's just a different kind of beat as opposed to.
Nah, we kill all that shit. That's not
maybe right.
That's not like there's no ego in this fight. Like, there's no ego here. I'm just letting you know. I'm just saying. Like, I feel like I just want to be raw with you right now. Like, yeah. I hope you being raw to me back, because I feel like these conversations, like, even you being white, me being black, I like think these need to be had. Like,
yeah, of course.
Raw. Like, even me telling you shit you ain't heard before, and like you telling me some shit you ain't heard before.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fundamentally, like, I'm not a believer in like dividing, like, period, right? Because exactly what you said, it's all perspective, right? But again, it's like I feel like people need to get into their individual qualities first before race-based, gender-based, sexual orientation-based identities, right? Because if you identify as being black before, high on the list, then you're going to stereotype yourself, and then you're going to mold yourself based on that cultural expectation.
You basically saying I do that shit. Basically saying I like.
Well, I think everybody does that. I think that, I mean, that's fundamentally, I think, why stereotypes are bad, generally speaking, is that it negates the individual in favor of, like, everyone who looks like them. But I think it's more important, like, where you come from, where you were born, how much money you were raised, I think dictates more of your outlook of life, generally speaking. Who you were around dictates more so than your blanket skin color. That gets into a deeper conversation of, like, why are black people predominantly, like, poor, right? Basically. And then that gets into, like,
Detroit, we poor as fuck.
Yeah.
What do you think we do to bring some money in this bitch? I be talking to the mayors and shit. People running for mayor and shit.
I mean, I think Detroit is on a good upward trajectory.
We still broke as fuck.
Yeah, we still broke, but look how broke we were compared to now. Like, if you want to look at 15 years ago,
like, when I was a kid, like, we fucking filed for bankruptcy as a city.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well,
I think
from what I understand, that had a lot to do with the the auto industry. That gets into more like macroeconomics, I suppose. It's like if the auto industry is the lifeblood of the city, and that's where all the people work and all the money is funneled into, and that goes away, then all of the money is gone.
Let me ask you this: you engineered when I first seen you, not first seen you, but you engineered Cash and Crime.
Yeah.
How did that relationship start?
Oh, I mean, I just met him. Normally, I think he goes to Crown, ATM Crown, who is another engineer I respect. But Backdoor Main, he's my client, and I've been working with him for like a year and a half. And they linked up somehow on the music, and he just brought him. So like, I fuck with Quan. I recorded him maybe 4 or 5 times, and I had a couple conversations with him. I fuck with him. He's hilarious. He's got good energy, and all that. But I'm not about to say like I'm his
boy.
Well, not his boy, like
client. I like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's like I don't want to. This is the danger of saying. Here's the danger of you saying I record Cash or Quan is that he has a huge back catalog of shit.
Like, bitch, you recorded me one time. That don't count.
Sort of. I mean, I think because again, I don't know him too well, but I think a majority of his records were done by ATM Crown. So I don't want people to think that I'm taking credit for ATM Crown's work. Basically, that's from a professional standpoint.
I understand. I'm gonna title this video "Cash or Crimes Engineer." I got you. All right, but
he's. I think he's like a creative genius, Quan.
Let me get you this. It's the who's the most famous person you interview with? I mean, not interview with. Fuck.
Worked with?
Yes.
Royce the 5'9" is the most famous person. Very early in my career, even before I had Bankros, I met him at Mix Factory, and this is the day I went from a boy to a man from an engineering perspective. So I was the only one in the studio. I think the owner was out of town. Royce came in. This was before he had Heaven Studios, so that tells you how long ago that was. And he was there, and Ivy, the owner, told me go and set him up, like get him together. So I set him up because I was still a relatively new engineer, and then it was just me and him. And he kept calling me up to like help him with shit. And he said, look, like I got a bunch of shit I need to do. I'm not trying to learn how to do all this shit right now. I can kind of do it, but it'll slow me down. Can you just record? So I said, yeah. And then it ended up being, so this was, as a sidebar, I just broke up with my current girlfriend. I was literally, I don't want to say I was homeless because I could still live with my mom, but I was out of her house, right? And I was in between, so I was living at the studio basically. I was there 6 days a week. I would go to my mom's.
Homeless, own it.
Kind of, sort of. But I was living at the studio and then going to my mom's house to shower and sleep and then go right back to the studio. So that was the space that I was in. So I had zero obligations, but it ended up being literally 3 days. I know that sounds like an exaggeration. It's not. I saw the sun go up and down twice that session. And he kept telling me, he's like, you can go. He's like, you can go whenever you want. And me, because I just broke up with my girlfriend and I had a chip on my shoulder, I was like, I'm not fucking going anywhere. So like I fell asleep on the boards a couple times, fell asleep in the chair a couple times. I maybe got like
sound like a warrior. There is no home.
Yeah, no, 100%. That was like God. That was God putting me in the right place. And so that's how I got a relationship with him. And then
is he a bitch nigga or is he good?
Is he a bitch?
Yeah, is he weird or is he cool? Like it's a lot of weird people in the industry.
No, I love Royce.
So you got a personal connection.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I haven't talked to Royce in 8 fucking years. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when I met him, Royce, yeah, I mean, I met him when he was, what was the album he did? It was, I think it was Layers or something. It was the one with cocaine on it.
It's all good. It didn't have MM on it. We don't need it. All right,
but Royce is phenomenal in my opinion, especially working with him. I like Royce a lot. I think Royce was at the time, and again, this was 8 years ago, he was really focused on being a better person. He was really focused on his craft. He was, I mean, I'm sure he was always. He was really focused on his sobriety, and he was a good person. Like he was good to me, and he invited me in basically to the studio with open arms and kind of like, put me right in there, and yeah, I have only good things to say about him. And I met Denine over there, who is also.
Let me ask you this: what's the wildest story you got in this industry?
The wildest story? I don't have too many fucking crazy wild stories.
He was cutting in the studio. He got shot, and he went straight to the studio. He had to get sold up in the studio. And nothing. I remember it was in the trap house. That was my first goddamn engineering spot or something like that.
Nothing crazy like that. But this is when I kind of knew. I was like, I was kind of like, oh shit.
He got pussy right there in the studio.
Nothing like that.
Like my wildest story, I was in LA and the dude he said this shit was Lil TJ manager. That's how I knew the industry was different. Nigga asked me like, I swear to God, like, you want some water?
Are you asking me if I want water, or did he ask you?
He asked me like, that's how I just said that.
Yeah.
You want some pussy? I swear to God, that's how he said it.
Like,
he phrased it. It was a room full of bitches, and I was like, "Want some pussy?" And I was like, I was shooting for him.
Yeah.
And I was so shocked. I didn't say anything. I swear to God, I don't remember what I said.
So, I'm good.
Like
I'm full.
Shut the fuck up. What the fuck?
Full, no thank you. I had pussy before I got here.
He was like, I got some pussy before I got here.
I couldn't possibly have another bite. So this is sort of a wild one. It's not the craziest shit though. But I was recording.
Say the craziest.
They were street dudes or whatever, and then I heard a rap on the door on the back, and then they stick out whatever. Who is it? Whatever. They opened the door, and their man's came through, and he got shot, and he had his bandages on, right, and he was just there like with some AR, right, in his arm. And he literally is like bleeding on my floor, and he like wrapped his shit up, and he's like, blah, whatever, blah, blah, shot me, and I was standing there like, oh, and then so like three of them dipped off and like went, and I was like, I shouldn't have seen any of that, I shouldn't.
But I know you being serious. Right?
Yeah, I wish I didn't see any of that, So that's, I don't know. I don't have too many wild ones. None that really stick out. That one kind of sticks out.
All right, for sure. All right, other than that, I thank you so much for fucking with me. Like, this is, like, in my heart, like, brings you joy to me, like, doing this one right now. Like, you want, like, I know you probably don't put yourself up there, but, like, me in my head, like, I put yourself up there. Like, Bankrolls, like, holds a special place in my heart. Like, I feel like I love them. Like, I love that, like, building, like, an actual rose.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, legendary to me. Like,
I appreciate that, man. Like, again,
it's a legendary fucking, like, nobody give Rose his flowers.
That's okay. Again, it's like, I appreciate that greatly, and I don't want to be dismissive because, like I understand that I did shit, and I understand that I had an impact, and I'm glad that
you're the guy.
I'm glad. Buddy. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy that I could be that in some capacity for someone and for the culture in any capacity. I mean, it's that's a blessing to me in general, because again, it's like I'm just. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just a guy, and I do what I'm supposed to do. I just take the work serious, and I mean, I'll tell you.
That's how you know you're the guy. Them people that's like, I'm the guy. Like, usually ain't the guy because they too busy.
I mean, look, if you got to tell yourself you're
you working, same on the videography tip. People be like, D-side, you so good. I'll be like,
there's gonna be a point, bro, like, because you're on the path right now where you're all in, and it seems like you're very all in, and there's gonna be a point where enough time has passed and you have enough workout, even if you don't get like a big massive thing, that you get that same status. And then you'll know what I mean. Like when I sit here,
I'm telling you, I understand it. People like D-side, like this one girl, she wanted me to collab with her so bad. I like Instagram collab, you know what those is, right?
Yeah.
You're not too often in that.
Yeah.
Right? But basically Instagram collab, and I'm like, why you want an Instagram collab with me? Because you don't understand. Your page is kind of like promotion still. I was like, all right. And it's like, trust me, I get people like that. Like, they be like, you don't understand. You actually doing it. It's like, oh, this nigga, like, it was a dude, Matt, here. I just came to the studio. It's my, like 6 day working in the spot. So he's like, bro, he's like, this nigga be with the superstars. And I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, because me in my head, I just think of these, like, I think of people like regular people, like,
yeah.
Maybe because I don't listen to street music, too. Like,
yeah.
Like, I think the Detroit people, like, they be talking about, I'd be like, it took me somebody to tell me Cash Aquan and all this shit. Like, I was like,
fair enough.
I don't be watching, like, knowing shit, which is kind of scary to a degree.
Why?
Because one of my niggas shot Skillet. Are we out here?